co-host one. What does that entail?
That entails me. Well, when I was the co-host of the old podcast, it would entail me acting like. It would entail me not preparing at all, much like I don't now, and then coming to the show. Here, say how you would like to, and then see, you can pull it up, and then put it up towards your mouth.
Hello.
Ooh.
Oh.
God, that's very. Say something again.
Jaywalking.
All right. Perfect. That looks about right. I think. I know probably there's a guy riding a tractor right now who's gonna say that's too quiet, but I don't care. I want to do what I want. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Conservatish episode 13. Our guest tonight is Michael J. And I have not recorded an episode since Tuesday, and I feel just itchy. I felt like I didn't know if it was just I needed to hang out with my people, or I just needed to have. You know what it might be? There's been a lot of stuff in the news, and I'm just ranting by myself in my
in your car,
right? Just like I'm gonna post about this, and this is when I pay too much attention to Facebook and Instagram, it's a problem, man. I just get very opinionated without any traction. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think with this, part of it is like it's a way for me to talk through the things that I think and have other people around who can tell me if it's actually a valid opinion or if it's just, you know what I mean? Because otherwise, I think it would just be flying out there without any filter, no Pete filter. It would just me going blah blah blah. And I've had even yesterday I posted something and then immediately was like, this is me being an asshole, and I just deleted it because I just felt weird about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it would turn too much into like, I don't know if you ever listen to him, but like, and I really like him, but Bill Burr, sometimes he just has like these things that are just full on rants.
Yeah.
And you're like, where the fuck is he going with this?
Have you listened to any of my episodes yet?
Yes.
I'm guaranteed there's got to be at least, I'm sure on the last one especially, people said that they had some puckering moments. And I knew that they would, but like I go on some rants sometimes. That's the one with.
That's like the nature of a podcast.
I guess so, yeah.
I mean, look at Joe Rogan. Like, dude, that guy goes on some crazy ass rants about like DMT.
DMT. What's DMT again?
DMT. I forget what it exactly stands for, like the chemical compound or whatever. But basically, it's like it's this compound that you can smoke.
Okay.
And it basically makes you trip like. Crazy trip for like 10 or 15 minutes or something, and you like black out and trip.
Whoa.
And go to the spirit world. But apparently also your brain is flooded with this stuff like
for a while.
No, like right before you die.
Oh.
So I guess it's like I think he picked up on it from like Terrence McKenna did like, you know who that is?
Yeah, it was he's still around, isn't he?
I think Terrence McKenna died.
Oh, okay. But he's like a chemical, he's super, the psychotropics guy. He's like what's the motherfucker from the 60s? He's like our version of Tim Leary. Tim Leary, yeah. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, like I guess he had some old joke about DMT where basically it exists everywhere, like in everything.
Okay.
But that it can't be absorbed unless like you have like some kind of inhibitor compound to aid it into like digestion. So he said basically everybody's holding because everybody has it in their brain already. And you're before you die, you're going to get your brain flooded with it.
Okay.
And it basically makes you like calm.
Okay.
Like accept your situation.
Right.
So that you die peacefully.
Yeah, it seems. I wish we could be calm and accept our situation now. You know what I mean? Instead of like here, position. It's a good distance, but like, yeah, there you go. So wherever you're saying. But I wish and I guess that's the goal of most drugs would be give me something that makes me feel. I mean, I know for me when I did drugs, it was like anything but here. Anything but now. But if there could be this perfect angle of like, okay, this is right in the sweet spot of I don't want to feel crazy. You know what I mean? Like I just want to be calm or something. You know what I mean? I don't know. I guess people. What was it for you? I mean,
I know this guy named Lee, and he says it better than I could. He's pretty good with words, and he says, he'll like hold up a bottle and he'll be like, it's basically a bottle of doing better.
Doing better.
He's like, this is doing better. Like whatever it is, you know, if it's
Right.
like drugs or if it's like alcohol. For me, it's alcohol.
Right.
That's what it was. And
Right.
so
It was anything. Yeah. It was just like, it's similar to food for me too, and a bunch of other things, obviously. But like, it's like a distraction from the presence. And I guess some people there's this gal. She recently changed her artistic name, Lila Rose. She's a good musician. She's a good singer. Her voice is fucking ridiculous and amazing. But she was talking about how she recently did a video and like, you know, she realized she doesn't really smoke weed very often, but like she smoked weed and it was like very helpful for her for production's sake. Like, you know, it like helped her be productive. And that's not my experience with weed.
no
And some people, I guess Rogan's similar, where like he smokes weed in order to work well, and like I you know, that's just not my experience with pot, man. Like I don't, I'm not, and not just that, but I almost look down on it in a way. Like I know it's bad or whatever, but like I just like, who are these people who are wanting to work hard? Like what in the fuck is wrong with you? Like for me, I just wanted, you know, sometimes it's called oblivion, but like I just wanted somewhere else. Like I didn't want to be wherever here was. Here was painful and it was uncomfortable and I didn't like it and I was afraid and I was anxious and I felt like I was not hanging around with the right people at the right time, and just I wanted something to scratch the itch. So like, you know, to turn that into some sort of work, like what? Like that just, I don't know. You know?
Yeah, weed just makes me paranoid and horny. Which you don't really want to be like those two things at the same time, basically.
Right. Did you ever have a bad experience? Well, I guess did you ever have like a time where, and you could be vague about it, but whatever, but like, did you ever have a time where you did that and were those two feelings mixed poorly?
Yeah, basically from the age of 14 to like 18. No. 14 to 17.
It was just a 3-year swath of paranoia and horniness. That's fantastic.
Yeah, but you know, I can't really blame the weed for the horniness.
No,
I mean, I was only
probably
14 to 17, so.
Right. I as far as that goes, you know, I'm interested in talking about, I mean, how much of you're not on social media really at all, are you?
No, I do some Instagram stuff, but yeah, other than that, no. I have a Twitter account, but like I don't even know the password.
Right.
Because I think I started it, and then I was like, I don't really have all that much to say to people I don't know.
Right.
And
was it ever? Did you? Because it seems like you've been in a relationship for a while, right?
Yeah.
So did you get it before you? Did you have social media or have that inkling before the relationship?
Yeah, and then I had this ex that like just basically stalked me on there, and I was just like, this is super lame. I'm just gonna delete it. Like,
right.
I just don't want to like any less avenue for you to contact me is good. So
right. See, that's a smart way to go about it. I feel like, because I know intellectually I should be in the present moment and actually like feel somebody in real life, you know what I mean? And just be, you know, but for some reason, and I need to have it for promotional sake, you know, to promote the podcast and the music. But it really is quite, in my worser moments, especially over the last month, sometimes I'll literally be going from thought to thought, thinking, here's how I could package this into a post. Like, ugh, like I feel like a fucking 13-year-old girl, man. Like, it's bad. I don't, and I know intellectually that it's not good, but I still, that fucking weird, you know, awful piece of me still wants to think about it that way. You know what I mean?
Dude, it's not good. Like, I have two of them, and one's like a personal one, and that one was more like I would just make these doctored pictures of like I put my friends' faces on fucked up pictures.
Right.
You
like
know?
the little girl running away from the napalm, or
I don't think I went that route, but I'm not against it.
Oh.
And then I really cut down on that one because a friend of mine, he goes, "Hey, we should start a meme page together."
Right.
And so we did. So
you
now
you can have joint pages.
Yeah.
Well, interesting. Okay.
And so we do this meme page, and I really just now look at that one. Like, I don't even look at my personal one so much anymore. Like I posted like a story to mine yesterday because I saw this cute French bulldog at lunch, and I was like, "That's cool. I'm gonna fucking record that with Instagram because I like stupid, ugly
You're
dogs."
a 13-year-old girl too. Goddammit.
Yeah, I love ugly little dogs.
How ugly was the tongue out of the? You ever seen the ones with the tongue out? They apparently, my friend Trinity, she was on here. She said that they don't have teeth, and that's why the tongue falls out.
I don't know which kind she's talking about, but this one was a French bulldog, which are pretty fucking ugly.
Okay.
Like, if you threw a French bulldog in the water, it would drown because it can't swim, because it's not buoyant. Because, like, it's got a gigantic head, and then its body's all weird. And
Oh yeah, one of those.
one of those.
Yeah. That's. I wonder why evolution decided, or did we decide to do that?
We fucked that animal up.
Did we really?
Yeah, we totally destroyed that animal.
Interesting. Did you do any research on that? Or you just kind of
Oh,
lightly.
I don't do any research, Pete. I'm fucking stupid.
You fit perfectly on the podcast.
I've heard someone say before they're like basically my level of research is like YouTube videos and Wikipedia.
Yeah.
And I go, yeah, I know some shit about the Federal Reserve because I watched a video.
Yeah. You know what? If we all understood that we were all ignorant, I think we wouldn't get as angry. Like I had last week. Did you listen to the last episode, the one with Proud Boy on it? So Jerry from Proud Boys, Bay Area Proud Boys, came on, and people's reactions were, I mean, some people's were, I had a devout friend who all she said was like, she loves my podcast, and she said she had some puckering moments. Like she was like, there were some parts where like she was like, oh, I don't agree with that, but other than that, it was fine. Yes, eat your carrots, sir. But no, thank you, sir.
It's healthy. It's carrots, cucumbers.
You know what?
etc.
I'll have a carrot. Give me a goddamn carrot.
I got you the biggest one.
Oh, so nice. Actually reminds me of my penis. So this is the worst podcast in the world. I'm just chewing a carrot, and anyway, I'll put that on my mints. So I had him on because I wanted, I wanted to have the people on because I see a lot of misinformation get put out about the Proud Boys. And so he came on, and then a lot of people reacted on social media, as you do. And I knew what I was doing. I knew I was being an antagonist, but at the same time, I didn't expect certain reactions from certain people. And I won't get into details or whatever, but I was like, they started fighting. These two people started fighting on Facebook about it. And I was busy the other day while the fight was going on. I was busy recording or editing and mixing for the album. And I already saw like this person's replied to this person. I'm like, all right, here we go. And I knew it was going to be something, but like there was a lot of just misinformation. Somebody posted it like saying something like, well, the Proud Boys are a known, it is no like that they march with white supremacists and the KKK. And then somebody was like, well, where do you know that? And then that person posted an article in response to where do you know that? And then I read the article, and it said that there weren't any, it didn't say anything about Proud Boys being there. And in fact, the only time the article mentioned something, or it was the Wikipedia page. The only time the Wikipedia page mentioned the Proud Boys was that Gavin McGinnis, the leader of the Proud Boys, said, I disavow this, and I don't want any Proud Boys to go. So, the whole idea of, I'm going to mention this because it's something that, like, you can just say you don't know. Like, you can just say, I feel this. Like, I think that's fine. Like, if you just feel it. But logic should trump feelings. And going back to your point about, like, I'm pretty ignorant, I feel like most of us kind of are. And if we took ourselves with just a little bit of a grain of salt, like, we'd feel something, but it's not necessarily true just because we feel it, I feel like we'd have less run-ins.
Yeah, like on a lighter point, like I'll get home from work and I'll reiterate some kind of discussion I had, like my girlfriend and I will be talking about her day or whatever, and I'll always reiterate the story, and now, like, I try and not do it because
What do you mean? Oh, you'll reiterate something that you did, a different discussion that you
Yeah, like, I'll reiterate a discussion with somebody, and she's kind of...
Put a little closer to your mouth.
She's kind of showed me this thing that I do, right? So I'll be like, oh, I went to work and then, I was at lunch and we saw this dog and, this guy I worked with said, man, that's a really fucking rad dog.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Mm-hmm. And then my girlfriend would go, did he actually say that was a rad fucking dog? Or did he just say that's a rad dog? Because I insert the word fuck everywhere.
Right.
And so that's like on a lighter note, like it's kind of along the same lines. Like, I feel this way, so then I'm going to make up a fact.
I do that all the time. Ugh.
And it is, I mean, everybody does it. It's not like...
But I mean, it's on every side, in every argument. I just feel like we feel something, and that's okay to feel something, but like if it's not... That is the biggest bite of a peanut butter and jelly sandwich I've ever seen in my fucking life. You're a small man, and that was a very large bite, sir. I'm very proud of you.
I'm also a fast eater.
Yes, you are. But I feel like the bottom line is, I don't know, to get a little, is my computer going to do this? Is it going to do this? Okay, here we go. To get a little political, have you followed any of the Kavanaugh stuff?
That'd be a no, Pete.
Good for you. Oh, good for you.
I can't keep up with all this shit. Like, like in my professional life, I have to kind of keep up with stuff.
What's your professional life? Let's talk about that first. Or do you want to, well, you work in, you can keep it vague.
I work for a Bay Area company.
You fucking cocksucker. And is that as in-depth as you'll be? This isn't even your real name.
Yeah, I'm just going to say that.
Michael J. from the Bay Area Proud Boys. No, he's not.
I'm not in the Proud Boys.
But so in this, there's been a lot of stuff with this Kavanaugh stuff where like a lot of these women will come forward and there's been a lot of like bullshit memes. I actually started compiling a list of bullshit memes. You want to go through the list? Do you know any of the story at all?
No.
So in general, Brett Kavanaugh was going to be voted in. You are the fastest eater. Holy shit! All right, we're trying to have a serious conversation.
I need energy for this conversation.
But Kavanaugh was going to be sworn in. Someone came forward saying, "Hey, this guy Kavanaugh attempted to rape me when I was in high school."
Sworn into what?
The Supreme Court. You don't know nothing about it.
No,
okay. Well, I'm gonna try not to fuck it up, or insert my editorializing too early. But so there was a lot of people saying, or she came forward saying, this guy is not trustworthy. He should not be on the Supreme Court because I remembered from when I was in high school that he and a friend of his tried to rape me. Put me into a room in the party, put his hand over my mouth, and was taking off my clothes. I got free, and I ran into a bathroom across the hallway, locked the door, and then they drunkenly stumbled off eventually. Now, on the other side of that, a bunch of people are saying, some of the witnesses there said that they didn't know that Brett Kavanaugh was there. And then bottom line is that a bunch of people have been posting. Like, there's a lot of people on both sides who are kind of ignorantly splashing about a bunch of shit. Me personally, and there was testimony. I listened to a little bit of it. I listened to a little bit of Kavanaugh's response. But in general, I don't think that she's lying about something happening to her. I really don't. It sounds like she's telling the truth as she sees it. I don't know for sure if Kavanaugh was the one who was actually a part of the rape. He seems like kind of a pathetic guy, like kind of an ineffective, like he just seems like a very fastidious OCD dork, and definitely,
like a Bill Gates.
Worse, like a Bill Gates, but like who's only had sex with like 2 people in his life. You know what I mean? No offense to those who have had... No, offense to those who have only... Guys, get pussy. But anyway, like that. Like more of a dork in the sense of like he hasn't really been excited for anything. Okay, yeah, maybe he'll like a Bill Gates. But instead of being excited for computers, he's excited for the judicial system. You know what I mean? He's excited for like, law is the greatest and my father. And, you know, he just seems like that kind of guy. Anyway, rather than going into the details of that, a lot of people, stars, women and men have been saying like, I believe her. Stand with all women. Believe all women. Hashtag I believe, right? And whatever you think of the situation with Kavanaugh and this person who is accusing him of this. Now, I think it's probably, it may be, I don't know. I have no idea. And if there was some weirdness like this, that maybe I wouldn't just push this guy forward. If I was nominating him and then someone came forward with this stuff, maybe I would say, okay, well, who's someone else I can, who has less, if there's even a question of it. Regardless,
I would agree. Regardless
of whether it's true or not, believe all women is not good. So as an example, I've had 2 women on the podcast who know women who have lied about rape. Besides that, it pretty much brings into the thought that if you are female, we have to believe what you're saying. And that's sexist. To think that a female is morally unquestionable or a black person is morally unquestionable, it just feels like racism. It feels like sexist. It feels like that's creepy to me. But there's such an overreaction on both sides. Some people are saying like, well, some people are saying things like, hey, this is going to ruin Kavanaugh's life. Like, okay, yeah, but I mean, if this is a genuine article, like, okay, let's hear her out. Like, if this is actually something like that, doesn't seem on the right side or on the left side. Like, on the left side is believe all women. Like, that's insane. Let's take each thing as it comes. But also on the right side, there's insane bullshit on that side too. And I rather than even take each thing as it comes, or I don't know. I feel like I should have some sort of like a point list. I'm like, what is my point? But I just feel like you, as somebody who is a fan, like you've listened to a lot of Patrice O'Neal, like you kind of understand like that. Like you have your own opinions. You and I have talked at length about females and stuff. Like and I actually know them, and I just don't think. I don't know. Some of the things I compiled. What was? Let me see. No, I did that wrong. Anyway, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I just think there's
Did I make any succinct points in that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I feel like with everything that like I think this morning I was like walking to coffee and I was looking at my phone and shit, like looking at stuff, and I think it's like looking on, like I'm not even a fucking adult, like I have on my iPhone the fucking news app thing, but I open it from time to time and I go, this is boring. Why would anybody want to read this shit?
Right.
So I feel like I get everything about the outside world I learn from like Instagram. I just go, oh, apparently some shit's happening because this guy's face, or
that's so smart,
or this person's face appears a lot, and I go,
right.
But I mean, I guess I'm just really cynical. Like, there's a bunch of shit that I don't do that adults are supposed to do. Like, I don't read the fucking newspaper.
Right.
I don't vote ever.
Why don't you vote?
A very brilliant George Carlin bit in the 90s
right.
about voting is useless.
Yeah.
We're going to give you one day every 4 years where your voice matters, and then you read the election stuff and you're like, oh, the popular vote doesn't even fucking matter.
Right.
So why would I waste my time?
Right.
And also I believe in, like, if you do not want to support a system, then you don't fucking participate. Right?
Interesting. Okay.
So, like, you got Johnny Vegan, right? Who's like, fuck the meat industry. Right. He doesn't go buy any meat and then like throw it at people or something. His stance is that he does not support the meat industry, and that's actually a bigger like jab or move on that you can make as a person against something that you don't support.
Okay.
So, back to the point, I don't do a bunch of shit that adults are supposed to do. Like, I know I'm supposed to like read up on every fucking hashtag that appears in the media, but
Right.
I feel like overwhelmed by all that shit.
Yeah.
And like, you know, I'm just trying to focus on what the fuck I'm doing.
Right.
And, you know, as far as like getting behind anything, I just don't. I just don't.
So you feel like your responsibility more lies on what your circle, your people, your family, your responsibilities, your job, your friends, and positively impacting the people around you and what
as best as I can. And some days that's really, really not that good, but
right.
you know, yeah, that's all I can do. Like, I know people that are like, I got this friend out in the East Bay, and he's, you know, like, I think he's like 7 years younger than me, and he was telling me something about, I think I texted him, because I'm basically a 12-year boy, like, I still skateboard, and I'm fucking 37, and I texted him, I was like, hey, I'm going to be on the East Bay, do you want to go skating? Because he's an East Bay guy. And he goes, oh, I'm not going skating. I'm going to this fucking march to you know, rally against the Nazis or something. And I'm like, are they? I wanted to go, are they really Nazis, or they just have a different viewpoint on you? Because I feel like that word gets thrown out a lot.
Yeah, it does.
And I mean, if we just take it as it is, that word is like really specific and really fucking gnarly.
Right.
And I'd personally like to see that word go away.
Okay.
Like, we got rid of the actual Nazis back in the 40s, and why do we have to keep, like, why do we use that word still? We should just get rid of it.
Yeah.
Like, it was a fucking horrible thing that happened, and why do we have to revisit it when we use that word?
Right.
You know?
So what did you say in response anyway? What was the nice thing to do?
I think I just looked at my phone for a while, you know, and I was like, you know, I just did that, and I went, I don't even know what I said. I think I just tried to, and he knows me well enough to be like, you fucking dick, you know, like his.
You mean you could say that to him?
No, I'm sure that he was like, you're fucking stupid and ignorant, and old, and you don't keep up on the issues, and I'm like, God damn it, you whippersnapper.
Right.
But, you know, I was like, are they really threatening, like, your way of life, or they just have a different viewpoint? And I'm not saying by saying, are they really threatening your viewpoint and your way of life? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying that they're not doing something
You're
bad.
not saying it's 100%. You're saying, have you even stopped to question it and find out?
Yeah, what are the facts? Let's just go with the facts. Because I like to just go with that kind of shit. Like, when I don't know what to do, I go, okay, well, what is actually happening, rather than like what's going on in my head. And sometimes I do that well, and sometimes I don't. But I mean, that's part of the human fucking condition,
right?
You know?
Yeah, I mean, as an example of that, one of the people who posted something about, you know, they were fighting back and forth about me having the Proud Boy on, and one of the guys posted something like, Proud Boys is a known, like, the word known needs to stop too, but they're a known anti-Semitic, blah, 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 and he was, like, saying all this shit, and posted a picture of this, not, like, these definite white supremacist rally. Or it wasn't a rally, I'm sorry, like a group of like 10 dudes saluting and doing the OK sign, apparently, which is like a white supremacist thing, apparently. And I know, it's a social, it's okay. And then, but he used that picture as a means of saying, here is an example of my point. But nowhere in the picture was anybody who said, like, who was wearing a Proud Boys shirt or was a definite known member of the Proud. Like, it didn't make any sense. It's like saying, you know, here's this picture. It was pretty much saying, he was saying, here's this picture of a bunch of white supremacists, which looked like all white supremacists, but nowhere in there does it connect to the point that he was trying to make. He just wanted everybody, he wanted me or anyone else on that thread to know, I feel something. Ugh, I don't agree with white supremacy. Like, That's another thing too. Just because I have you on doesn't mean you and I have to agree on anything.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I think one of the first times I hung out with you, you said something that stuck with me. And that was that you said, hey man, if you're like looking around for people that you agree 100% with, you're going to be alone. Because the best that you can hope for, I think the number you threw out was like 60%.
Yeah, I agree with that. But if that 60% is a good, like you and I get along, especially with our mutual friends, but also with humor, and also you're one of the only people I could talk and say like, damn, that bitch is fucking fine. Like at least like you're one of the only Bay Area people I can go, ugh, fucking delicious. Like we have a mutual friend. Who doesn't? He doesn't say like that's disrespectful or something like that. But you know who I'm talking about. But like he just doesn't get down like that because it's a very Bay Area guy. I like just the not so. You know what I mean? I like being a little goddamn disrespectful. It's fun. But like you and I don't need to pick into everything that you and I could disagree about. When I had Jerry from the Proud Boys on, I'm not saying by having him here that I agree 100% with. It's a fucking conversation. I'm allowed to have a conversation with somebody. And not just that, there were times where he and I where he would say something and I wouldn't disagree with it. But I pick my battles. I don't need to stop the presses. Let's dissect that. And here's why I don't need to. Because the bigger message is more important. The bigger message that here's this person who you think you know what he believes, and now we're going to prove you wrong, cocksucker, who hasn't researched anything about the Proud Boys, just gets told they're a known white supremacist, and the motherfucker is Mexican. You know what I mean? Like, you just get told these things, and you don't think about them, and now that's the bigger fight that I was having, was here's this person, we may not agree on everything, we're allowed to have a conversation, and fuck you, douche.
Yeah, I mean, one of my best friends, I mean, we disagree about shit all the time, but it's not like it doesn't destroy the friendship, and I feel
or mutual respect for that.
Yeah, or mutual respect. It's like, okay, whatever. I mean, so the fuck what? Mm-hmm. Like I seen this like excerpt. I don't think I said that word right, but whatever.
I'm not going to cut it out.
Clip.
You understand?
Okay,
that.
Let's go with clip. Clip works, right? So I saw a clip from the Family Guy show where they were making fun of this whole like social justice warrior movement thing up.
Right.
And it was some dude getting hired for a job, and he goes, and he has his phone in his hand the whole time, and he's like clicking away on his phone, and he's going, and thanks for the job, and thanks for. He goes, thanks for the job. And he goes, and I'll have a list of my trigger warnings for you. And somebody goes, what's a trigger? And he goes, bruh, that's one of my triggers.
Right.
And then he starts like clicking away on his phone. He goes, now you're hashtagged. Now your job's taken away from you. And now your life's ruined, bruh.
Right.
And it's like, so fucking what? Like, we're turning into a society where to disagree is to like, to commit some kind of like act of violence.
The reason why they did that, they started conflating. That's this whole idea of hate speech, right? Have you heard of this hate speech idea?
Yes.
So, if you're actually inciting violence, you're a douche, and we should, let's flag your stuff and take you down and blah blah blah. If you're actually going out there and saying, fuck all the black people, or like, let's kill, let's go beat these people up, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's bad. Outside of that, if you're on Facebook even, and you decide to put out there that you don't like black people, why do I have to stop you? Why do I have to stop you from even expressing? Not just expressing that, it gets even simpler where like I can't even, some people don't even want people to talk about like me or Patrice O'Neill would always say, like, he would say, he outwardly was like, I just don't like Asians, man. I just don't. And he's a big black guy, would go on rants for like a half hour about how he just doesn't, he would have the experience over and over of not having a pleasant experience with an Asian person. And he would say things like, he, obviously a lot of it was joking and hilarious shit, But also, we would say, like, how many experiences do I have to have with a certain type of person before I'm allowed to say I don't like that motherfucker? Like, why is that a bad thing? Like, why do I have to like it? That doesn't mean, you know, and I've said that about lots of different things, like Asians. Like, I love a lot of Asian people. Like, but, like, sometimes my experience over and over, when someone cuts me off and I go to find out if that race, like, what the race of that person is, or someone's going 20 miles fucking per hour, like, in the left lane, like, it's usually a Chinese or Middle Eastern descent. Does that mean I don't want them to vote? No! Vote, baby girl! You feel free to drive. Feel free to, you have just as much, but I'm allowed to, why am I not allowed to, I can't even make an observation from my experience? That's hate speech? That's hate speech? That should be stopped? Just because I have this experience, I'm not even allowed, like, but you are allowed to do it on the other end. You know, I've talked about this too. Like, if a black dude has an experience with a white cop over and over and over, maybe he's allowed to say, I don't like cops. You know what I mean? That's okay.
Or even white cops.
Yeah. He's allowed. I think he's if it genuinely is his experience over and over. Now I could be just only counting the amount of Asians that don't, like, even yesterday I was in a bad fucking mood because a bunch of goddamn Europeans showed up to my fucking restaurant. Europeans don't tip. They love your service, especially English people. Oh, we had a lovely time. Thank you. Here's $5 on $100 fucking tab. Like, Europeans don't tip. Why am I not? That doesn't mean I provide them with shitty service necessarily, but why aren't I allowed to gripe with someone about motherfucking Europeans coming in? You know, why can't I?
think you can talk shit about Europeans because it's like, it's basically, it feels like as long as they're white, you can say whatever the fuck you want.
Right. Like, that's racist. That's racist. To say that black people don't have shitty behaviors, black people, like, or to excuse their shitty behaviors.
I don't know. It's so. I try and not go that route of like, okay, it's like X group or Y group, because for me that just goes into like some real fucked up shit, and it's not good. So I don't find it.
You mean for you personally?
For me personally.
Okay.
So I just try and not go down that route. But I mean, like, my girlfriend's Asian, and she will even like say shit about other Asians.
Really?
You know, like, we'll be driving and she will go, like, somebody will be driving poorly and she'll go, and then we'll pull alongside and we'll both be looking to see who it is.
Of course.
And if the person's Asian, she gets like even more pissed off. You know, like I remember, like,
because she's like, you're giving the tribe a bad name.
Basically.
Yeah.
You know, like, I remember, like, knowing that she had a good sense of humor. It was, like, on one of our first dates. Like, I didn't even mean it as a joke, but she picked up on it. And I asked her, she said something about her car. And I go, oh, what kind of car do you have? And she told me what kind of car she had. And I was like, I don't even know why I asked this. I think it was because I was nervous, you know? Mm-hmm. I go, oh, are you a good driver? Which is a stupid fucking question, right? Like, who's going to go, no.
Yeah, that's just a nervous dude. I got to come up with something to say.
I have to say something. And so I say, which is a dumbass thing, and I go, oh, are you a good driver? And she goes, yeah, like, she said something like, despite my race or something. And so I was like, oh, okay, she's got a sense of humor about things.
Right.
Which is important.
Right. I mean, but that's, like, I actually, somebody sent me, some Asian girl I know, hang on, let me find what she sent. She said, hang on, I messaged with so many Asian broads. Oh, here we go. She said, no, it's actually true, like, for real, stereotype, I'm a shitty driver. But she said, but give me a math problem, I'll make it my bitch. Like, that's an Asian person agreeing with the stereotype. Like, what's wrong with that?
I think it's a cultural thing. And I know that's even, like, sounds kind of, well, where are you going with that? But, you know, like,
it's all right. These people don't know who you are.
Yeah. You know,
they've already written me off or agreed with what I'm saying.
You know, like, I don't spend very much time with my family. My family are not Asian. But I do spend
I don't know where you're going with that.
but I do spend a lot of time with my girlfriend's family, and they're
Sure.
Asian.
Right.
You know, and a friend of mine asked me recently, he goes, oh, what are you doing this weekend? I go, I got to go to this family thing with my girlfriend. And he goes, and your girlfriend's Asian? I go, yeah. And he goes, so when you go to these family things, are you like the only white person there? And I said, as a matter of fact, I am.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, you good with that? And I go, actually, I kind of hate it if there's another white person there.
Oh, yeah? Why?
Because I've been there first, motherfucker. Like, I'm the token white guy. Like,
Yeah.
I've staked my claim, okay? I make sure to make all the fucking self-deprecating white guy jokes that I can.
Right. And they probably, like, they know, like, they can talk in a different language around you and, like, you know.
Oh, shit. One of her cousins, like, the favorite of her cousins, like, he said it, like, recently. He goes, Dino, you ain't white no more. You're Asian.
Yeah. That's sweet. That's
you know,
nice.
like, he gave me shit this one time at a dinner, and, like, I got soup. They were serving soup, and then I got a bowl of soup or whatever, and he goes, where's the rice in your soup? And I go, rice in my soup? Dude, I'm white. And he goes, nah, but you're you know, like, you're part of this family now. We're Asian. We put rice in our soup.
Interesting.
Which, I gotta say, makes soup fucking better.
Does it really? What
Heartier.
Yeah, that's true. Soup
More
by
calories.
itself is fucking, man, nobody. What about, was it like a miso type, or was it like a pho type of?
No, it was like a Chinese soup. I forgot what kind of soup it was, but it was like Chinese soup is my favorite soup.
Is it?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know if I've ever experienced a Chinese.
You go to a Chinese place and you order Westlake.
What do you
Sometimes
mean? order West, or you
you can order. It'll usually either be called, I think, Westlake, like, you know, like the shopping mall, or they'll describe it and they'll say minced beef with celery or something.
Okay, so that's kind of like pho. But
when you get it, it's gonna look like snot.
Okay.
Like, the first time I had it was at, like, a dinner function thing with my
Right.
girlfriend and stuff. And
Right.
they bring it, and they're all like, they're used to this shit. Like,
Right.
I grew up in the sticks. We didn't have any Chinese food.
Right.
And I look at it, and I'm like, what the fuck? That looks like boogers in my bowl.
Right.
And she goes, yeah, it looks like snot, huh? And I go, yeah. And she goes, it tastes really good.
Interesting.
And it's
So it
super
wasn't
good.
the Panda Express Chinese food. It was like
No,
legit.
we don't fuck with that. We
Right.
eat real Chinese food.
Yeah, but but that fucking what is it called? The walnut shrimp.
Oh, I don't mess with that. I don't like mayonnaise.
It's not mayonnaise.
Yes, it is.
No, but not at Panda Express. I know what you mean though. But Panda Express, holy shit. Like, as far as like cheating on my motherfucking diet, Panda Express has been a staple of cheats recently, dude. I actually put it on pepperoni pizza.
Oh, shit.
I gotta tell you, everyone who's squeamish, please just cover your ears for a second. I cheated on my diet the other day. I got down to 210.7 the other day, and I decided to reward myself with a cheat day. I made myself sick. I actually had to throw up at night because it wasn't the combination of foods, it was the sheer volume. Like,
That's like me last night.
that's bad. But yeah, but you didn't. Did you throw up?
No, but
There was a lot of food.
it was
What is a lot of food for you though? Like, you weigh like 4 pounds. God damn it!
Yeah. Thanks, Pete.
Don't gloat, cocksucker.
No, I seen. It's funny. I take it in stride, you know, and like I've been basically like, if I go someplace and I see somebody I went to high school with, they always say the same thing. They're like, "Oh my god, you look the fucking same."
Oh yeah.
Because like I haven't gotten any bigger or any smaller or anything.
Is there insecurity about that? Because, like, I mean, my friend Jake, actually, he's been on the podcast. He's like, man, I'm trying to gain weight. I'm like, oh, boo fucking who? Like, oh, you poor thing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't relate to the insecurity. I'm not saying it's not valid, but
I'm sure that, you know, folks like myself have it, but, you know, I kind of use it to my own benefit, you know? Like, if I go to, like, a function, like a barbecue or something,
right.
they let me cut in line because I'm skinny.
Yeah, that makes
You know,
sense.
nobody trips off me. They're like, "Oh, get up there, get some food," you know.
Right, they'd
Get
be like-
seconds. you
And
know?
they like, oh man, he's got to eat, right? Because they think you're so. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. If I come trundling towards the line, they're like, step back, fatso, fuck you. You know what I mean? We need to feed everybody here. You know what I mean? But like, Yeah, I get it. That makes sense. It's I don't know. I'm going to be transitioning into the workout phase soon, so I'm looking forward to that. Because I'm like, at this point, it's still like I don't feel like that cool manliness of, worked out. So I'm still, I'm still in fat burning mode, but I don't know.
Look great though.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, you I don't know if you saw me at my heaviest. We hadn't seen each other for like 9 months or.
Yeah, I remember like I didn't see you for a long time, and then I asked you that one time if you could come down and help me.
Right.
And and I'm waiting outside for you, and I'm like, fuck, I haven't seen him for a while. I wonder, maybe he's got like a hat on or something. I don't know. And then I look down the street and I see you walking. I see this guy walking up, and it was before you started like losing weight, and you had a guitar on your back, which I was like, who's this guy with a guitar on his back? And then you had this really long like Fu Manchu thing, and I was like, I looked at you and I was like, who the fuck is that? And then you got close enough where like I knew it was you, and I was like, oh shit, it's Pete.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of am jealous. Like I don't get that.
Right.
Like I run into somebody and they go, "Oh my god!"
It's they can see.
They just like they just
away.
recognize me, and I'm like, that fucking sucks.
At least you can grow a legit facial hair. I think it's my Puerto Ricanness that doesn't allow me to. I especially like right here.
Yeah, the connector.
Dude, why can't I fucking like this is. And so not just that, but then I lose it on top of my head. Like I get the shit of both worlds. Like fuck, man. God damn it. Yeah, no, the Puerto Rican side keeps me from growing a legit fucking a legit bushy beard, and also from, and then the white side, the German side keeps me from,
keeping the hair on
top.
Yeah, but you know what? I read something online because, like I said, I don't read the news. I don't go to any news articles. But
bald men are sexy as fuck.
Yeah, I saw that.
Dude, girls like.
But then it was kind of fucked up. The article, it wasn't an article because I don't read articles. Mm-hmm. The only articles I read are on like fucking stupid superhero movies because I do read that shit. But
I'm gonna punch you in the face.
It had, but the thing I saw with fucking women think bald men are sexier. And more confident too. And then I had a picture of fucking Jason Statham.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's kind of like misleading.
That is misleading. But what are they going to do? They're going to get fucking, John Goodman? They have to find somebody
or fucking
who's
Jason Alexander.
Yeah. Dude, I'd fuck Jason Alexander, dude. He's probably, he would, you know what? Jason Alexander probably eats pussy good. You know what I mean? Because he's not going to be Mr. Sex Symbol. So he's going to eat your pussy good, and he's going to be funny. You know what I mean? Like,
he's definitely going to be funny.
Right.
I mean, that guy is crazy. Like, dude, when you think about that guy's career, it's kind of awesome, but kind of sucks. Like, that
where did he go? I was thinking about
he's
that.
He's a fucking classically trained actor. He's a thespian.
Is he really?
Yes, he's like a classically trained actor. And then he was on Bosom Buddies with Tom Hanks.
Oh, really?
He was like some kind of weird. He was the friend. He was the friend.
He wasn't the other bosom.
He was like the douchey friend or whatever.
Okay.
And then he gets on Seinfeld and makes more money than God has.
Right.
And then
just disappears. He's done a couple of movies.
I saw him. He's got the KFC commercial now.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Like how they had
Norm, Reba, a bunch of other people.
Yeah, they had Gaffigan had it.
Did he really? Oh,
Gaffigan had it for like a week.
Right.
And I remember when I saw that commercial, I went, "That's brilliant." Mm-hmm. Gaffigan is the fucking Colonel.
He absolutely.
And then they changed it up, but now he's the fucking Colonel. And I only know because he yells in the commercial.
Okay.
And it's like, whoa, where's George Costanza? George Costanza's the fucking Colonel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But like a few years ago, my girlfriend and I were watching this show. It's bad. It's called Criminal Minds. It's like a shitty.
That is the worst. Ugh.
But
it's addictive a little bit.
But George Costanza was on it. Jason
Really?
Alexander was on it. He was like a criminal mastermind.
Okay.
And he had long gray hair. Like long flowing gray hair, and I was
no, Jason.
This is so fucking weird. And I remember watching the episode and being like, he's the only one on that stage that can act. Like he's putting 110% into that shitty character.
Right.
And it's just so weird because like going back to something that you kind of open with, it's like, who the fuck are these people that want to work hard?
What do you mean?
Jason Alexander doesn't have to work a day in his life. I mean, I'm sure that guy brokered himself a deal with Seinfeld where he never has to worry about money ever again.
Why hasn't he done Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee?
Maybe him and Jerry just aren't cool.
Maybe there's weirdness. I wonder.
Because, was he on Curb?
I think he's been on Curb.
Yeah,
I think he's been
but
on
that's
Curb.
kind of different because that's Larry.
Yeah, because that's Larry.
Yeah.
But maybe there's weirdness with Jerry because fucking Larry's done it, Julia Louis-Dreyfus has done it, and Kramer did it. Yeah. That was a good episode, dude. All three of those.
Yeah, I got a friend that keeps telling me to watch that show.
It's a fucking great
but I haven't watched
show.
it.
It's my favorite. Well, it's up there.
No, I think I watched the one where he went with Obama.
Yeah.
But that's different because that's not a comedian in a car with, Jerry getting coffee. But yeah, I really like Jerry Seinfeld. Like one of my favorite TV shows is Seinfeld. And I like his stand-up, but something I heard somebody talking they weren't really talking shit about him, but it was a comedian, I can't remember who, but they were at a comedy club, and I can't remember if it was in New York or LA, but they said that Jerry showed up, and then he just he got a set, and he went on, and he did material from the 90s.
Yeah, sometimes. And
they were
I think he was working on that though.
And they just thought it was weird. It was almost like a band. It was like a band getting up on stage and doing their greatest hits.
Right.
Rather than like anything new.
See, this is what I feel about Conan O'Brien. I may have said this as well. And this is actually what I feel about Patrice too. Patrice O'Neal stand-up, he was my absolute favorite comedian of all time. Absolute fucking hands down. He's funnier than anybody else. But in person, off the cuff, no one could fucking slay like Patrice. On stage, I'm like, yeah, okay, it's good. But then here's the thing about having on stage only is that, like, you it's already practiced. Now those ideas are already in my head. I've listened to hours of Patrice on Opie and Anthony and on the Black Phillip Show, and like, Patrice is my fucking favorite, but like in person is where he really shines. Same thing with Conan. Conan on the show, yeah, okay. Thank you for being esoteric and strange, and thank you for like, I think I used esoteric in the right context. Like, thank you for being eccentric and trying different shit, whatever. But in person, he's way fucking like on that. Did you ever see Conan O'Brien Can't Stop, the documentary?
I think I did watch it. He's really fucking tall.
Yeah, he's very tall, but he's also very fucking funny right in the present moment, right? Which is why he shines in the off the cuff stuff, in my opinion, and probably the same thing with Jerry. Like in that's why Jerry the Seinfeld show doesn't. I mean, I know if I had been a little younger, maybe it would, or a little older, it would speak to me more, but Comedians in Cars speaks to me more because it is more off the cuff and it is more conversational. It is, and I can really see the anger in Jerry's face, and you know what I mean. Like that's, it speaks to me more. I don't know why.
Yeah, I think with like Seinfeld, like the TV show, I watch it not for Jerry, but I rather watch it for the other three characters.
Right, he's more the straight man,
and all the other eccentric. I think the thing that really got it for me was the whole like the scenarios. I'm like, the scenarios are just fucking weird, Right. And then I watched like the making of the show thing on YouTube like years ago, and they're talking about how like outlandish the scenarios were, and I guess like they had some table reading before an episode, and
right.
Jason Alexander was talking about the episode, and it was the episode where they throw away an eclair at like George's like girlfriend's parents' house, and then he opens the trash and sees it, but it's on a doily on top of the trash, and so he reaches in and grabs it, eats it, and then the girlfriend's mom sees him and she's appalled by it. And I guess Jason Alexander goes, Larry, I mean, this would never happen. Right. And I guess Larry goes, what do you mean it wouldn't happen? I did it.
Right.
Because it was all like a bunch of them were based on shit that happened to him.
Dude, this is why I don't know if I could get into. I've tried to get into Curb, but like it's the same thing over and over. And
Larry being an asshole,
right? And it's valuable. I'm not saying it's not valuable, and I'm not saying it's not funny. But like, it's like watching. Did you ever watch The Shield?
No.
The Shield was the same thing. We're like, oh, they're in trouble again. How
like
are they going to
Voltron.
get out of this one? Oh, It's just like, after a little while, it's like, okay, like, but you're playing one note. You're playing one emotional note over and over.
Dexter.
Yeah.
It's very Dexter-ish.
Right.
Where you're like, oh, he kills folks. Oh, there's another killer that's going to come after him.
Right.
Can't wait for that shit.
These motherfuckers, I talked about it on Facebook, but like, these motherfuckers told me about Dexter for fucking years, you cocksuckers kept saying, oh, it's the best show, blah, blah, blah. It's corny as shit. And I got up to the fourth season, I'm like, or no, I was in the middle of the third, and I'm like, now fucking, what's that?
John Lithgow?
No, before Lithgow, that Latin dude, Brian. No, I don't know. Anyway, that Latin dude, and then with John Lithgow coming in, I'm like, okay, yeah, he's all right. It's a good character idea. Whatever. But like, people kept saying, well, no, you gotta watch it. You finish out the fourth season, and I'm like, I literally got halfway through, and then I was like, oh, the wife or the girl is gonna cheat on. I'm like, I don't even need just the same fucking thing over and over. And the writing is corny as shit. Like, it's not because it was 2005. It's just because I feel like it's just corny. Showtime in general, I think it just rubs me the wrong way. Like, I just don't understand.
Well, Showtime is no HBO.
Yeah, dude, it's just fucking not. You know,
fucking HBO. God damn it. Like, I mean, you could still pick up The Sopranos and watch that shit.
Yeah, I gotta get deeper into Sopranos. I think I was like, I made up my mind like a year ago. Like, I'm gonna watch The Sopranos. I paid for HBO. I'm gonna watch The Sopranos, and I started like I got through like the first 2 episodes, and it was that timing thing where like, where was it? The 2000, like early 2000s was, or no, late 90s I think was when.
I think it
Sopranos
started in
right?
99.
Okay, so like it feels like it though.
Yes.
And I'm like, it just felt, I don't know. But I've watched fucking Goodfellas like twice in the last 3 months.
I watched Goodfellas last night.
Dude, that shit is the shit, dude.
I put that fucking, like, we got home from dinner last night, and I remember thinking, I saw it on demand, and I go, well, I think I can safely watch that because I can watch, like I watch that kind of shit, and I want to go eat Italian food.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I go, well, there's no fucking room for Italian food, so I guess I'm just going to... And it's like a warm blanket.
Right.
You know, like I put that on, the little opening scene,
right.
and then he says, and then it stops and it goes, as far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster. And I'm like, now the nice warm blanket is on.
Dude, that's what I feel like for same thing for I've watched The Office 58 times. I've watched fucking 30 Rock 58 times. I've watched Comedians in Cars. I'm on my like 5th or 6th go round. Like, I just like what I like, you know what I mean? And sometimes I get sick of it. I would go fuck off, you know what I mean? But like, there's some, even though I don't know the exact line coming up or the exact joke or the exact, scene or whatever, like there's something, even I've watched it before, but it's comforting and it keeps my attention at the same time. You know what I mean? Goodfellas is fucking amazing.
It's probably one of the best movies ever made.
It's fucking great, man. I didn't get into it until, about a year ago, but I've watched it, I think 3 times now. And, I really like it, man. Yeah, I don't know. And there's some of those things where like, okay, I got to give it some time before I watch it again. But I'm like, I could sit down today and I watched Goodfellas again like 2 weeks ago. I could sit down today and watch it again and be just as enthralled. Like, there's something about it.
Yeah, and I think that there's also something like that with like comedy specials. Like, I feel like a lot of comedy specials that come out now like have no rewatchability.
Okay.
Yeah. Chris Rock, one of my favorite comedians.
Right. You can watch Bigger and Blacker.
I can watch Bigger and Blacker today.
Right.
And be like, and be like, watching it with somebody, be like, this is the good part coming up. Right. This is the part where he's gonna, yeah. But then I watched his newest special, Tambourine, and I thought it was really funny, but I was like, yeah, never gonna watch that fucking again.
Yeah. And I don't think it's because he's not a good comedian. Tambourine, actually, you know what I liked about Tambourine? When he started talking about cheating. When he started getting real, I was like, oof. Like, he just said that you know what I mean? Like, in a room full of motherfuckers on Netflix, he just told the truth. That felt good. But outside of that, I don't really want to, and I think for me anyway, I think part of that is that the stand-up, like I was saying earlier, it has less value to me than, than in conversation. That's why podcasts or radio shows like with comedians on it make me feel like it makes me feel better because I'm dipping into the actual like, and it's right there, and it's
in the person.
Yeah, you know, Black Phillip as an. Did you ever listen to Black Phillip?
I have listened to Black Phillip,
dude.
And I mean, God, I think that's the thing that kind of like Patrice's stand-up was like the hook with the bait in the water.
Exactly.
But then it's like you just have a hook with the bait in the water, right? And that's going to attract fish.
Right.
But then when I started hearing his stuff on like Opie and Anthony, I just remember thinking, this dude is hella fucking smart.
Yeah.
And then that was like
right.
Hook in mouth.
Right.
You know, just the stuff where I remember after he passed away, they had like this really long thing, like basically like remembering him and stuff. And they
the
were
whole
talking,
weekend, I think, yeah.
Yeah, they were like basically roasting him.
Right.
Being like, he was an asshole.
Right.
But we loved him.
Yeah.
And they would talk about how he could just like walk into a room and like own it.
Right.
And not even be on stage.
Right.
Or that he would, if he didn't feel like he was going to like kill, that he would just kind of like do the opposite.
Right.
And
yeah.
so,
where he was, when instead of, and I've tried to see if I can, enter this into my living, but like, he would go up on stage, and if the people on, if the crowd was not giving him love, then he's like, okay, well, watch this. You know what I mean? Okay, instead of like hat in hand, like Bill Burr talked about, instead of going like and groveling, like, okay, I'm gonna try really hard and I'm tap dance faster to make you love me. He said, all right, I'm gonna piss everyone off in the room and just spray it everywhere.
Speaking of Bill Burr and pissing everybody off in the room, did you listen to that Philly rant thing?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I listened to that. And I was howling laughing.
Right.
And I wasn't howling laughing at actually the words that he was saying. What actually had me laughing was that he would, he'd be like, I hope your mother gets herpes. And then you lick it. And then he would go, 10 minutes left. That's what was like
right.
Brilliant
He was
about
counting.
It.
He was counting down until his time. He was the whole crowd. He's up on stage at an Opie and Anthony show. And the thing about Opie and Anthony fans is that they were fucking ruthless, and they're all drunk and they're all ready to just start booing a motherfucker. And they started in with Bill Burr, and instead of going, oh, I'm sorry, and trying harder, he said, fuck it, I'm going to fuck you now for fucking, however long the rest of my set is. And so he's just, you got to look it up. And he just fucking murdered Philly. They were in Philly, I think, right? And he just murdered, fuck the Eagles, fuck Rocky. Oh, a whole fucking city built on a fucking movie about boxing. Go fuck yourself. Like, you know what I mean? He took them apart and then would, like you were saying, would go, and count down the minutes to how long the set was left. He's
8 minutes left.
Right, I'm not going to let you motherfuckers take my fucking dignity. Suck my dick. I'm doing this. You know what I mean? Like, that's the type of balls that I want to have. You know what I mean? Like, that's the type of, the Patrice balls to just say, okay, you're not going to like that. Oh, you don't like that I started talking about females, or that I said bitch? Now I'm going to say it even more. Watch what happens now. Like, I was just talking to a mentor of mine today about how way too much of my life, and not just artistically, in every single aspect, I've been way too worried about the approval of others. Way too worried about the approval of others. You know what I mean? And just, am I doing this right? And I understand that from an artistic standpoint, you have to do stuff that's
appealing.
But I have to be myself, you know what I mean? Which is, part of the thing about doing this podcast is like, I get to explain myself as stupid as I am and as uninformed. I get to explain myself. I get to make jokes. I get to rub, pet the cat the wrong way. Like I get to piss off people. I get to do everything I want to do in a long form conversation way, instead of, okay, I gotta wait for, I've been working on this album for a fucking year. There's motherfuckers who haven't heard any of this shit, and I'm like, or not, almost a year, and I'm like, imagine if I had to wait. Now, in the future, when I'm rich and famous, it'll be faster because I'll be able to go into the studio and I won't need to do a GoFundMe or go to Patreon. By the way, go support me, because I just paid fucking $35 for parking just to do this podcast. So fuck you, please go to my Patreon page. Give me fucking money, cocksuckers. If you like this podcast, if you like my music and you want goodies, go there. I hate you. But in general, like it's I would have to wait a year for someone to hear my opinions about something, or for me to have any sort of artistic output. Fuck that shit. You know what I mean? I think this is some sort of an artistic something. You know what I mean? Like, it's probably just me ranting and shit, but like, you know, people like it. I don't know.
I think people really like podcasts.
Yeah.
You know, like, I listen to them at work. I'll be honest, I listen to them at work because they drain my battery less than listening to WatchMojo.com videos on YouTube. I mean,
you listen to Watch Mojo?
Yeah, totally. I don't think I'm the only one.
With that chick's annoying voice, we're gonna count down the 10 most incredible. Ugh.
I don't want to live in a world where YouTube drains my phone battery that much.
Yeah,
I want to live in a world where it doesn't.
Yeah, Stitcher apparently is the least amount of, like, that's where all of the files are a lot smaller. But I put this on Stitcher, YouTube, SoundCloud, everywhere, pretty much. But what is that noise? Is that you?
I don't think so.
Well, I think it's the AC. Anyway, last time I checked, it didn't come through this anyway. But yeah, I listen to podcasts a lot too, and it started. Unfortunately, I didn't get into Patrice until he passed away. I was starting to listen to Opie and Anthony, I think, in 2011, around about 2011, beginning of 2012, and he passed away, I think it was November of 2011. And I had just started, and I was like, holy shit, like, it just totally opened up my whole world listening to him. And God, that's fucking. And they were starting a fucking movie. His ex Vaughn did an Indiegogo or something for the movie, and I contributed. I got a little shirt that says "Better Than You,"
Nice,
because that's what the movie was going to be called. But I guess it somehow got halted, and like, that would be my dream. I know that's a stupid idea, but like, if I could this is a stupid idea, but I love it. If I could get enough fame and money to just comfortably support my artistic endeavors, and then also to just give Colin Quinn a couple million to do whatever the fuck he wants, that would be my dream. Like, I want to give, or to give Patrice O'Neal, like, or to make that movie. I don't even need to be known that I was supporting
executive
it, but
producer.
like, right, I just, here's a bunch of money, get it done. Like, I want to see that fucking movie about Patrice. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can watch some of the interviews. Did you watch any of the interviews from it?
No.
So, Dave Attell, Jim Norton, all these comedians. Kevin Hart, by the way. All these comedians talk about. I don't think he was on that interview thing, but like, all these comedians talked about Patrice and the impact he had, and so they got that done, and I guess they were doing some editing, but it fell apart somehow, and I don't know. Like, I would love to just support the artistic endeavors, like, when Monty Python were wanting to do the Holy Grail, they reached out to musicians. I think George Harrison was one of the producers on it. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
that in itself is funny,
right? Absolutely. Like, because they were just the Beatles, and they all these weird English comedians are coming, and like, that would be so cool to just. Yeah, okay, I've got my stuff, and I'm working on this, and I'm doing a podcast, or doing this, all this bullshit. But, like, here, Colin Quinn, take it and do whatever the fuck you want with it. You know what I mean? Here, Jim Norton, here, all the, these comedians that I love, do whatever the fuck you want. You know what I mean?
Macdonald.
Yeah, dude. Have you started watching his show on
No,
Netflix? It's great. It's great. It's really funny. It's really weird.
He's so good.
He's so good.
He's so fucking funny. He's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
And kind of, when you're talking about, like, the whole... I know it's kind of going back a little bit, but you were talking about, like, Patrice being able to, like, go up and, like, there's something weird about being able to talk in front of people and, like,
right.
what works and what doesn't work.
Right.
And there's, like, so many different examples of it, but I think, one of my favorite examples of it working was actually, it could have cut so bad for him, was an old Carlin special where he got up on stage and, like, the first joke he did
right.
was about... haven't you ever noticed that people that are like pro-life are people that you wouldn't want to fuck?
Right. And he started with it.
And
the balls.
He came out on stage, standing ovation, like he'd already won.
Right.
And then he goes, yeah, fuck all that shit.
Right. Sit down.
I have to say this.
Right.
And then it landed. And not even just landed, it murdered. And it's like, only certain people can do certain things.
Yes, but Carlin spent 45, even before that special, I think it was like 40 years, 35, 40 years in the business before that special, making himself a better comic, knowing what would work and what wouldn't.
Yes.
And not just that, but gaining the artistic experience and also gaining the balls to go, you know what? I'm going to do what I fucking want. You know what I mean? Like, I'm 32 and I'm starting to, fucking feel my balls, and I'm starting to go, you know what? I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want to do. Like, you know what I mean? Like, artistically, whatever, to females, to everything. I'm just like, I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want to do. Like, I think that comes with time, but it comes with patience, but an experience or whatever. But like, Carlin earned his goddamn balls. You know what I mean? Not only was he artistically valid and he was funny enough, but he also put in the work internally to be like, I know exactly what I'm gonna do now, and I don't need your fucking approval, and I've got everything I need, and to just come out and saying, all right, I'm now gonna polarize everybody, or you're either gonna love me or hate me. Here we go, and I'm gonna gut you like a goddamn fish. That's the shit. That's so fucking great.
I think I heard like an interview with his lifelong, or not lifelong, but they were together for a really long time. Mm-hmm. And she said that, I guess, like in the 70s, when he kind of shifted from being like a very clean comedian to like the hippie guy with the long hair and the beard and shit. Right. That apparently he told her, he goes, like he'd already made a bunch of money and kind of established himself. And he said, if I don't ever... He goes, I want to do this new material that I've been doing, but because it speaks to me rather than to these people that I don't identify with anymore. Right. And he said, and if I only book coffee shops, I'm okay with that. And so he'd already like kind of made peace with, this could really go bad financially for me. Right. And then fucking he murdered.
I think it did for a little. Yeah, I was reading that his. I guess he was working on a book. I think someone else. What did I do with that book? But yeah, he was working on a book, and I think it did impact him financially for a little bit, but then he blew up from it. You know what I mean? Then he was like, once he didn't need to play pander to the people who he had already pandered to. He could be himself, and he got a whole new audience from just saying what he wanted to. You know what I mean? And there's a tremendous freedom. Even Jerry from the Proud Boys, who was talking about it last week, like he was like, yeah, believing what I believe or talking about what I believe affected me personally. He lost gigs, he lost friends, but like now he has new friends. Now he has new gigs. Now he has new opportunities, and at least he has his bucking balls. You know what I mean? Like, if we set ourselves up as a society to not have freedom of speech, at least, like, you're fucking screwed, man. You can't, like, there's so much importance to be able to say whatever the fuck you want to say and believe whatever you want to believe. Like, that's so important.
Yeah, because nobody knows what the fuck they're doing, really.
No.
We're all just doing trial and error here.
Yeah.
Like, we know some of the same people, and, like...
Right.
I don't listen to folks that talk about having all the answers. I'm like, you're full of shit.
Right.
Like, I'm 37 years old, and I'm just barely, like, I got a tiny little fucking nightlight of a viewpoint on what to do. Like...
And ultimately, your opinions on fucking world, whatever, your vote may count, or your non-vote, or whatever, but ultimately, you are responsible for your cul-de-sac. You are responsible for your family, and your friends, and your... lifestyle, and your balls, and your whatever. You're responsible for that, and your opinions don't matter that much, nor do mine. And I have a podcast. Someone was talking about like, oh, don't have the Proud Boys on because you're giving them a platform. Fuck off, baby. First things first, and second, there's like not that many people who listen to this podcast. And my friend
Oh, and there's also
my brother texted me when he was listening to the podcast. He said, "Oh, by the way, the haters are right. I listened to the Proud Boys episode, and now I'm a white supremacist."
Well, also, if you don't believe in somebody, if you think that somebody's so full of shit, then wouldn't it kind of like benefit you in a sense by having them have a platform to like expose how full of shit they are?
Exactly.
You know, it's just too weird, you know. And to be honest, like I don't even like having like my girlfriend and we don't talk about politics, you know. And I think that's really good because like there's certain friends of mine where like we'll link up to go do something. And they just want to talk about Donald Trump and this political issue. And I'm like, why is everything... Why do we even have to fucking talk about all this shit?
Right.
Why can't we just talk about, you know... I mean, we're on a fucking flying rock hurtling through space.
Right.
Like,
like that Louis Good.
There's really interesting shit happening. Like, I don't know, man. Like we're discovering new shit. Like folks are discovering shit, you know, and people are making mistakes, yes. But, I mean... You know, one of my favorite things that Bill Hicks ever said was that all of humanity is equal. We all suck.
Yeah.
You know.
Right. And I was talking about that with Jerry last week about like, okay, Trump, or you hate him, but like hate him or love him, like my life hasn't changed really at all. No one's has. Even the poor Mexican, like no, their lives haven't really changed either. Like there's some people who have been, you know, who have been affected, but really most of us, including all of you listening, your life has not changed one way or another, positive or negative. You know what I mean? And that's, I think, the ultimate lesson of all of the presidency and government or whatever is that I think no matter who the president is, there's enough of you could see it from a negative perspective, like it's all one, you know, it's all the fucking, you know, the Masons doing it or whatever. But you can also see it from a positive...
The lizard people.
The lizard people. But there's also from a positive standpoint. There's enough filter around Trump. There's enough governmental filter around the motherfucker to protect us all from the more gross, glaring aspects of his personality. You know what I mean? There's enough of a cushion so that he can bounce around. And same thing with anybody. Where on the whole, not always, but on the whole, even we were protected from Obama's personality. We were protected from Clinton's. Like there's enough of this structure.
We were protected from Clinton's boner.
Unlike Juanita Broderick. Believe all women. But what's the thing I was going to say? Oh, I found a screenshot that I think you might find interesting. So you said like you had this friend who they always want to talk about. So here's this person. They're not a friend.
I have a bunch of friends that always want to talk about Donald Trump, and I'm like, and I just don't participate in the conversation. And I know that's kind of cowardly, but really what I want to go is just okay, yeah, you don't like him? Okay, I think that everybody's kind of said that.
Right. You want to get a burrito?
Yeah, you want to get a burrito? You know, like,
grow up.
And also, like, we'll be doing something, like, as a group of friends, and then they stop doing what we're doing so then they can talk about this asshole.
Right.
And it's like, I mean, he's a douchebag.
Sure.
He's got a bad fucking comb-over. I mean...
Yeah.
Do we really need to keep talking about him? And, I mean, come on. That's what he wants.
Right.
He has a gigantic heart on. It's almost like, you know, like a bell rings every time, and every time a bell rings, an angel gets its fucking wings.
Right.
Every time we talk about Donald Trump, he gets a heart on or something.
Right. I was actually at Starbucks, and I talked about it last week too. But like, I was at Starbucks, and just now, a couple of hours ago, and I was, you know, we're all just talking shit, and you know, I want to lick that girl's asshole too. By the way, fucking. God damn it! Almost every episode, ass eating comes up. Anyway, email me at conservativepodcast@gmail.com. But I was at Starbucks, you know, and we were joking around about something, and I said, "Yeah, no, nothing's going to be all right. We're all screwed," you know, about something else. And then the barista said, "Yeah, you're right. Like, you know, as long as Donald Trump is president." I'm just like, ugh. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just making a joke. Like, not just that. Why do you have to assume that I agree with you? You're now volleying this piece of a conversation at me as if I automatically agree with you. That's fucking rude. I didn't say anything pro-Trump. I didn't say anything like, well, no, we'll be okay because
and then
Trump is president.
And then if you take that stance, they go, oh, well, then you're automatically pro whatever.
Right.
And it's like, hey, I'm not even saying anything. I'm just saying you assumed that I agree with you.
Right.
Because that's like Bay Area 101.
Right. It's fucking it's fucking bullshit. Watch this. So this chick who is going to stay alone forever. She said online, and I gratefully unfollowed her. She said, "Fuck dating apps. They are garbage. I cannot date someone who doesn't understand pronouns or the wage gap. Send me your woke boys." This is no irony. There's no
There's
irony
a
in
woke
what
boys?
Send me your woke boys and girls because I'm over the fucking random interwebs and wasted nights. I'm pretty upset about this one. Hashtag feminazi. Hashtag no chill. Hashtag GTFO. Hashtag alone forever is better than the patriarchy. Hashtag cortisol. Hashtag Grey Gardens. So they're not kidding. This is an unfiltered woman. This is an unfiltered woman. This is someone who, and I know her last boyfriend, if you can call him a fucking boy, and bitch, he was a bitch boy. Okay? You leave, and it's his fucking fault, just like it was her previous boyfriend, that she's like that. It's his fucking fault. If he had the balls to say, to at least come in and say, "Bitch, shut the fuck up. Like, what are you talking about? Explain this. Let me explain what you're actually feeling." If he felt his fucking balls to tell somebody, "What do you mean that I need someone that understands the pronouns?" Like you and I understand. I can be with somebody and not agree with them on some things. You and I are mature. This bitch is in her 30s and thinks that is the way to live? Like, there's no filter set up for females right now. Y'all motherfuckers are off the fucking chain. And guess what, bitch? I'm fucking here. I may be a small podcast now, but I will help you out of your fucking... I will help you out of your stupor. God damn it. Can you imagine a man doing that shit? Can you imagine a man... And I know men do it in their own right, but at least we have a filter set up. Like, if a dude said, "I'm over dating these girls who are all into," let's take it from another aspect. "I'm over dating these girls who blah, blah, blah." Any dude who even starts mentioning that, what do you think? Maybe you're not on social media, but for me, any dude, even if I agree with him, quote unquote, if he started a post saying, "I can't stand these women who blah, blah, blah," I'm like, ugh, what a gross dude. I am instantly, my pussy gets dry. Like, instantly, like... I'm like, this dude is not fucking, and he's not dateable, because he's actually willing to go on Facebook and post about some fucking immature shit. But a female can do it with no filter. A female can do it, and still guys will go, "I believe in the patriarchy. I'll tuck my dick between my legs. Let me fuck you, please." Babies. Fucking male goddamn babies. Grab your balls, you sons of bitches. These females need your fucking filter. They need your help. I need women. Women need men. And right now, these motherfuckers are fucking off the goddamn chain. Jesus Christ. See what I'm saying? This is why I shouldn't. If you're a female who's listening to this, feel free to email me, conservativepodcast@gmail.com, and I'll fight with you, baby. I'm not afraid. Or if you are one of the $20 patrons on Patreon, you can ask me questions, and I'll answer your questions on the podcast. So if you say, "I want you to talk about your male privilege," and I'll fuck the stupid out of you. I'm not afraid.
Why does every guy from like our generation, when they do a girl's voice, they always make it sound like the girl voice that Louis C.K. does?
Yeah, it's probably because of Louis, I guess. No, I mean, male privilege. Because I do know females who talk like that. God damn it. Ugh.
Yeah, they do exist.
They do.
Like,
and I actually almost started a podcast with that female. She wanted to start a podcast, and
that one.
Yeah, that one. She wanted to start a podcast about
fun.
sex. Ugh.
She sounds highly offendable.
Ugh.
What I mean, why? You know what I think is really weird about all this offense shit is two things. All these people that are so fucking offended live in like the richest country in the fucking world.
Yeah.
We live in the richest country in the world, yet we are so fucking offended. And
Right.
actually, from what my research, which isn't research,
No.
but videos that I've watched, it shows that we're actually like not very happy as people.
Apparently. Yeah.
And could that have anything to do with that we're offended by everything? Like everything
Right.
Fuck. I do an Instagram meme page and motherfuckers get offended.
Right.
Even though our bio says
We're an Instagram meme page.
It says these are just jokes.
Right. So I actually went to, and I might have told this story on the podcast, but like I went to a comedy show. I was trying to fuck this girl. She invited me. She had free tickets, so I'm like, fuck it, I'll go. And so I go to the show, and I didn't know who it was. I just was, trying to get some, and it's free tickets. So I go to the show, and I sit down, and they start, and immediately I'm like, oh, it's this. It's a gay guy and a girl who have this podcast, this political podcast, I guess, and just went off for like an hour. And some of it was some of it was funny, but like it was pretty much all of it was stuff I don't agree with. And some of it was funny. But I didn't need to make the night about me. I didn't need to stand up and say, this is about that. I didn't need to write a fucking strongly worded letter. I didn't need to post about it.
You didn't need to blog about it?
No, I just needed to sit there and go, well, this isn't my cup of tea. And it definitely pissed me off in some aspects. But, like, I could let them have I don't need to get my fucking panties in a twist because they believe something I don't believe. It's okay.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I don't need to make people do what I think that they should do.
Right.
Fuck, we're all sentient beings. I think we should be given some leniency to, like, trial and error through life. Mm-hmm. To a certain degree.
Right.
As long as, like, you're not, like, directly impacting others, I think that, that's kind of the measure.
Right.
Right? Like, I shouldn't be allowed to, like, threaten people's life.
Right.
But also, like, I read about people feeling like, basically, if someone not like understanding them or disagreeing is like that's like an act of violence upon them. Right. And I'm like, what fucking piss your pants parents did you have?
Yeah, really bad parents probably. But I mean, at least parents who weren't willing. It goes back to the thing I was talking about with the filter. The reason why her being like that is his fault is not because all females are just stupid. It's not because all females need filter. All humans need filter. If I come to my friends and say some off-the-wall shit, I expect my friends, if they're real friends, to say, what the fuck are you talking about? I expect if I post some errant nonsense, which I've done, I did it, like I said yesterday, and then someone questioned me, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, I don't feel right about that, so I deleted it. It's not because but because there's a filter set up where, like, my emotions, when they overtake my logic, and I do something stupid, or say something, or believe something stupid, when I get questioned, there's enough of, beat up, I've been beaten into a state of reasonableness where, like, okay, I'm willing to listen to other people.
Yeah.
And that's
nobody should like lose their path on life because they made a mistake.
Right.
Like this constant, like I feel like a lot of stuff is just, it's almost like people are just looking for the next thing to hang people by.
Right.
And I sit back and I go, oh man, I hope like in 20 years the stuff that you're doing isn't viewed as something for you to get fucking hung up on.
Right.
Like that your children, these people that are, making all these hashtags. I didn't even know what the fuck a hashtag was.
Right.
Because I don't care.
Right.
Because the hashtag world is not the world that I live in.
Right.
But yeah, it's just too bananas. I just take it back to I look to comedians for my guidance through life. I look at George Carlin, and he got interviewed. He did it like multiple times where they said, how do you seem really comfortable.
Right.
And he said, I just don't give a shit.
Right.
I just want to be entertained.
Right.
And he goes, what you got to do is you got to stop caring.
Right.
And at a certain point, I went, I want to be like George.
Right.
I want to not care and wear all black.
Right.
From time to time.
How are you doing on time? I know
great.
Parking wise, you're good till 5:50.
I'm great.
You want to take a little pee-pee break?
I got to pee. Fine. I don't have to pee, but you can pee.
Why does no one? I do drink a lot of water.
I think, you drank the
entire Powerade.
Powerade, the coffee, and then you're drinking that. So you appear to still have a drinking problem.
I know. All right, I'm going to take a little pee-pee break. All right, we'll be back.
Go.
Okay. Looks like we're back moving. I always got to pee at about like a
Hour and a half.
hour and a half.
Yeah.
I go in. Always feels about right.
I feel great that it wasn't me that had to pee.
Why? There's
I don't know,
any
because I always like
pride
to
in that.
piss.
What do you mean you always? Oh, because you have a tiny. You're a tiny boy.
Yes.
Oh, I was gonna say you want to know the amusing anecdotes? Oh, let me find some amusing anecdotes to this story.
Oh, the screenshot thing?
Yeah, so let me show you. So this girl, she says, "Fuck that, they're garbage," and then watch this. Watch this. This girl, she said, "You could try eliminating white men on the apps. I personally found that helped a lot with the wokeness." Can you imagine anybody like? Do you understand when I say this, girls? I'm not saying that you're all stupid. You're not. You're all stupid and smart at the same time, like all humans. Do you understand what we're dealing with on the man side? That we're dealing with women who, I understand, like on the you're angry about Kavanaugh, or you're angry about Trump, or you're angry about these things. It's unfair what we've done to you by kowtowing and saying I'm sorry all the time and just bending down. Like, I'm not saying that I'm not nice to the females that I date, but there's a difference between, well, let me say, kind. There's a difference between kind, warm, right, and nice. Nice is I'm not being honest. Nice is I'll do whatever you say. I'm sorry. I know I'm a piece of shit. Yeah, I'll carry all that, and I'll do my which comes from a dude being afraid that the female's gonna leave. I think taking away the pussy. You're gonna take away the sex. I'm afraid you're gonna take away the sex. I'm afraid you're not gonna like me. And like I was saying earlier, I have now wrapped up my desire for approval into this other person, and I'll do anything to get that approval. And that's dishonest. And so through our dishonesty, we have let you fucking creatures do shit like that. Oh, delete all white men. Can you imagine?
The thing that pops out at me about that is like, woke. What the fuck is that?
You have you heard that?
I've heard it and I've seen it on memes and stuff, but
right.
like I think like 2 weeks ago, like a friend of mine, we were talking about woke and like we were making fun of it.
Right.
Like, what the fuck does that even mean? Like, it's it's just,
yeah.
It just sounds like bullshit. It's like, oh, like, because you don't believe in X, Y, and Z, that makes you, like, it's almost like if you're woke, that means that you're somewhat, like, intellectually better.
Right. There's a pride in it.
And it's like, you're not.
No.
You're not better.
You're not.
Like, nobody's fucking better than anybody. Like, come on,
right.
let's just...
Like, I remember I had did you listen to the episode with my brother?
No, I listened to the episode with, I can't remember his name, but he was the...
Keyboardist?
I did listen to the keyboardist.
Sweet Sheldon. I can't wait. We're going to have him back in a couple of weeks.
I listened to the drag queen.
Okay, yeah, Poyo.
Yeah, I really like that one.
Yeah, she's a good one.
And then I started listening to the one with the older gentleman.
Oh, Bruce, yeah.
But I just didn't find it. I didn't find him interesting.
Wow, what a fucking douche!
But
you
I didn't.
I've had people tell me that they really liked that episode.
Yeah. And then
I guess Michael J thinks he's better than everybody.
No, I don't. I'm not woke. Hashtag not woke.
But anyway,
I really just want to make anti-hashtags for like everything.
Yeah, you should,
because I just like fucking with people.
Yeah.
You know, like
it's
that.
fun. It really is fun.
And I'm not doing it to be, and I'm not saying that to be like malicious in any way. It's just because that's.
Well, sometimes maliciousness is okay. Sometimes it's good to comfort the disturbed and disturb the comfortable. You know what I mean?
I can't help it. I like to draw mustaches on people's faces. You know.
Yeah.
Like,
you are kind of Dennis the Menace. I mean, you're still skateboarding at 37 years old.
Yes,
kinda...
I mean, sorry. Like, I'm just not that mature. You know, like.
Right.
You know, like I can't. You know, like, I kind of get it, like, in a weird, funny way, you know, it's like the thing, and did you ever watch TV show Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
You know, like, the first episode, he gets diagnosed with the cancer, and he's just staring at the doctor, and the doctor's like, Mr. White, did you hear me? And he goes, you have mustard on your your lapel. You know, like, I'm that person.
Right.
By my very nature, I'm, like, either very, very, like, not here, or I'm drawing a mustache on your face, because I think it's silly.
Right.
Because I think things are kind of silly.
So in the Will episode, he talks about how like we were having a lively discussion, and then we had violent sex, me and my brother. I'm just saying, literally that joke right there was only for him. Just because I know he listens to all the episodes. That's the only thing, is that Will, one person in the whole world, was the one who was laughing at what I just said. And then he's going to send me some meme about... He keeps sending me memes about... Well, I don't need every meme in the world about ass eating. Just because it comes up all the time. They're good, though.
Just
They're
give
funny.
it a swipe. Just
They're
give it
funny.
a swipe.
There's nothing wrong with a little ass eating. I'm just saying. If it's clean, go for it. Anyway. So what I was saying was... what we were talking about, we were having a live discussion about the fact that I know men in prison who are black and Mexican and white who did foul shit. Like, it wasn't, they're not in there by accident. They're not in there because of the system. They actually did kill people. Like, they actually did rob and shit, right? And one of the things he said was, well, yeah, but you don't know why they did it, like to feed their family. Like, no, sorry. Like, I was thinking about it later, and I was like, no, not the guys I know. Like, they did it because they wanted to look cool in their gang. They did it as a means because they were angry at that person. They caught them cheating, or they you know, like, they're human like us. Just because they have black skin doesn't mean we can right away and write off everything that they do. That's racist. You know,
yeah,
what I mean?
by definition,
it's fucking racist. Like, I understand people have shit lives, and sometimes the system is against you. Like, I on a very, very, very lesser scale, the system is against a certain system is against artists on a very lesser scale. Don't get all fucking panties in a bunch. But like, as an artist, all of like my posts only go to certain people. So even if you follow me on Facebook or you like me on Facebook, you're only seeing some of the things that I post, unless you continuously like it or comment or whatever. So even if you intentionally want to know where I'm playing music, guess what? You don't get to. Unless I pay money to Facebook in order to show you. Now, in order to pay money to Facebook, I need to be making money through music. How do I get more people to give me money through music? They have to know where I'm playing. So I understand. Like, I'm not saying that this is comparable to growing up black, but I am saying it is a shit system for artists, and it sucks balls. But that doesn't excuse me saying, fuck it, I'm not going to try it anymore. It doesn't excuse me. I mean, I can try lots of different ways, and I can gripe about it, but it is what it is. I can't say like, well, now I'm going to decide to have a pizza today and ruin my fucking body because because I feel self-pity for myself because of Facebook, because of Instagram, who only show my, like, I can't excuse away my own shitty behavior. I don't know. Does that make sense?
yes.
Okay. Anyway, when did you start skateboarding?
Oh, ooh, I like this because I like things about me.
I like things about you too.
Thank you,
You're my sweet, sweet boy.
I started skateboarding when I was 12 years old.
12 years old. That seems about appropriate age.
Well, I mean, I guess technically I got my first skateboard when I was 8, but I didn't have any friends as a child, and
Okay.
I couldn't figure out how to do anything on it.
Now, are you saying you definitely didn't have any friends? Or like, were you the boy in the bubble?
No, I wasn't the boy in the bubble. I just was like really weird and awkward. And so I just didn't really have like any like I couldn't go, like, if my mom would have been like, you can have somebody stay over tonight,
right?
You know, like on Saturday
It was
night.
like, who?
I'd be like, yeah, I don't know what we're doing about that.
I was that way too. There was this. I think I was newly moved to California from New York, and they like intentionally paired me up with somebody. My friend Rohan, nice guy. He sometimes listens to the podcast. Yeah, so they intentionally hooked me up with a friend.
That's nice.
Yeah, 3rd grade. Yeet. So did you have that growing up or no? Where did you grow up?
Napa.
Napa. Okay. People skateboard in Napa.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like getting paired up with a friend kind of thing?
Yeah.
I don't remember anything like that, like panning out.
So they may have tried, but it just didn't.
I think that my mom tried to pair me up with some people, but it just didn't really take. And I truly didn't really have any friends, like go-to friend, until I was like, I think 10 or 11. And I still remember the two guys' full names and everything.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah.
George and Mike.
Are you still friends with them or no?
No.
Okay.
And they both lived in the same neighborhood, which was like an adjacent neighborhood to where I grew up at. Mm-hmm. And so they kind of knew each other a little bit better. Like, I think that they walked to school and since they were like 5 or something.
Right.
And then the fucked up thing is like I started skateboarding and, I made new friends. So then, like in skateboarding in 1994 wasn't cool. Like it wasn't on TV like it is now.
Right.
And it, like chicks weren't like, yeah, skateboarding's sexy.
Right.
You know, or now like lots of girls skate. Mm-hmm. Like it was very, very small. It was not on TV and it was not fucking cool. And so you were kind of relegated to only being friends with other skateboarders.
Right. And you know, I'm sure burnouts too, like drugs.
Oh, fully.
Always been
you were only friends with burnouts and fucking weirdos and other skateboarders.
Right.
Like I remember a time where like if I went to school and I saw somebody wearing skateboard shoes, that meant they skateboarded.
Wow. Yeah.
Like if I remember like maybe once like seeing some kid at school and being like he was wearing skateboard shoes and I was like, hey man, what's up? You skate? And he was like, nah man, I just got these shoes. And I was like, you're a fucking weirdo.
Right.
You want to hang out?
Right.
You know, because we don't really have any friends and you kind of look cool.
Right. I've had tons of vans in my life. I've never skated. I mean, I think I got on once in 6th grade, promptly fell off, and I was like, this is not my thing. I was too fat and embarrassed.
I don't know. I was just really weird, and it just kind of was like perfect storm, you know? It was like I started skateboarding because of this friend of mine who... one day he didn't skateboard, and then the next day he was like, I asked him what he was going to do after school. Mm-hmm. Because like I said, I like to draw mustaches on people's faces and shit like that.
Right.
We would go after school on Wednesdays and get Wendy's, you know, like the fast food.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we would both get an Icy, remember that? Or a Frosty, or whatever the fuck this thing is.
Yeah.
We'd eat half of it, and then we'd throw the rest at cars. That's what we would do together, because we were bored kids or whatever.
Assholes, yeah.
And yeah, one day I came up to him, I was like, hey man, what are you going to do after school? And he was like, I'm going to go skateboarding. I'm a skateboarder. And I was like, dude, I want to go too.
Right.
And then I remember being like, oh, like, I suck. Like, I tried it already and I wasn't very good at it. And then, but there was 2 guys there and they kind of taught me some shit.
Okay.
And then, like, not very long after that, like, I got a skateboard video from the skateboard shop. And I put it in the VCR, because back in VCRs, you know?
Right.
I put it on, and it had, like, you know, like, the soundtrack was pretty much, like, metal.
Sure.
And I remember, and, you know, there was, like, hijinks in it, like them, like, doing stupid shit
like
in it.
Jackass type of shit.
And I was like, I want to do this shit until I can't do it anymore.
That's awesome. That's really cute.
You know?
That's really cute. I mean, I'm not saying it's, you know, I'm not trying to demand your...
It's okay. You know, it's like my mom talked to me like a few years ago on the telephone, and we're not very close. Mm-hmm. And we were talking on the telephone, you know, and just kind of bullshitting, you know, about this, that, and the other. And she goes, out of nowhere, she goes, do you still skateboard? And I go, yeah. Because my mom hated it.
Right.
And I go, yeah, I do. And she goes, when are you going to stop doing that? And I go, when I can't do it anymore.
Right.
And she goes, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then she changed the subject back to something else.
Right.
So.
Well, I mean, you know, you're old enough now where, like, I think it took, I think maybe 5, I want to say maybe 5 to 7 years ago, I was acting, and I didn't realize that acting more like an adult would make my mom not mom me as much. You know what I mean? I didn't know that I was the contributing factor to my mom being too momish. Yeah. You know what I mean? But it really was. It really was the case. It was probably longer than that. But anyway, I remember, like, yeah. But so what? Did you ever do videos and shit like that too?
Oh yeah. Like growing up, we would do that shit all the time. Like, I think the first time that we did that was, and I still have the clip actually. I was
on VCR. Or on VHS?
No, I have it in digital format because one of my friends that I still skateboard with from time to time was like my favorite skateboarder as a kid.
Oh, wow.
He's like he's in his 40s now, and he actually owned the skateboard shop when I was a kid. So it's pretty special.
That's fucking
great.
That
I still get to hang out with like my heroes as a child.
Right.
And but he sent it to me, and it was basically there was like this shopping center by my grandmother's house where I grew up at, and I was skateboarding back there, and like there were some other like older guys there, and I was pretty young. It was so tragically bad, I have like bleach blonde hair. I'm like, I
want to see
I'm
that.
13. It's so fucking bad. And this
long hair or short?
A little bit longer than it is now.
Okay.
And this guy that I knew who was kind of like this older dude, but he was like really approachable. He this other guy was filming, and the guy that was approachable, he's like, hey man, what's going on? And I go, oh, nothing. I go, oh, Abe's filming. I go, how does somebody get filmed?
I put it a little closer.
How does somebody get filmed? I asked the guy that was approachable.
Right.
And he goes, well, I guess you just ask. And I'm like, oh shit. And I'm like, I don't want to ask that other dude filming because that guy's awesome.
Right.
And then I can't remember what happened. I think either I went up there all awkward and was like, hey, would you film me skateboard? Or
hey, mister. Right.
Hey, mister, awesome. Or he was like, hey, kid, hey, fucking asshole, want to film a trick? And then he filmed me for a little bit, and that's how it got rolled. But yeah, we used to do that shit all the time. Like when we got a little bit older, I had a friend that he's actually passed away now, but he like saved up money and like bought a camera.
Right.
And he would we would take it everywhere and film everything, which was totally unnecessary. Right, so stupid. But we were kids.
And definitely criminally damning, I'm sure.
Oh shit, yeah. Like he was kind of like the epicenter for all criminal activity amongst us. Yeah. But yeah, it was good times, dude.
Yeah, I used to steal, and I think I don't know if my brother was involved or not, but like I would sit on the curb and throw rocks after stealing from 7-Eleven. And just generally dicking around, burning our fucking textbooks or whatever. Like, we'd go and I remember we'd sit and throw rocks. And one time, throw pebbles or whatever at cars. And one time, this car actually stopped.
I had the same thing happen.
What happened with yours?
Oh, shit. It was fucking stupid. I was throwing rocks at cars, and this car, I dinged it as it drove past. It stopped and came back, and my mom was pissed.
Did you run?
No, because I was in front of like the house that we were at.
Oh no!
I was at like a family friend's house, and my mom was super pissed.
Yeah.
She was like, I think she was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? You're standing outside throwing rocks at cars? Like, what?"
Do you understand, ladies? We're not smart. Like we're just
stupid.
Dudes. Yeah, but I mean, it was so. I don't know why that's fun to us. I have no idea why that's fun.
I know, I get you. I wonder about kids, I'm like, do kids hang out in front of 7-Elevens anymore? I'm like...
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, even you said, your two friends were like walking to school when they were like 5 or 6. Like that doesn't happen now. Are there more molesters now than before? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think it's probably a good... like the same amount of molesters as there were.
Yeah, they drive the ice cream truck.
Yeah, I guess. But like, they're a priest. Or
yeah.
There seems to be, I don't know. Like I always really liked, I always looked up to, I never skated, but I kind of had some friends. I remember 5th, 6th grade who were kind of skaters. They would listen. I remember I listened to Dookie. You know what I mean? And they listened to Dookie.
I had the bleached hair because of Green Day.
Exactly, of course. That's what I was thinking. So you have that time?
Yes,
like that's
yes.
that
it
fucking
was so
album.
fucking influenced by that.
That was a good album. I don't like anything that
I
Green
saw
Day
that
has
guy
done.
in person once.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I swear to fucking God.
You saw Billy Joe?
In the flesh. It was so weird. When I first moved to San Francisco when I was like 18, 19, I got a job at this like skateboard warehouse. And the guy, one of the main guys at that company, he he goes, he invited all of us over that weekend because he had a ramp over in Oakland, and it was going to rain that weekend. And we were all bummed, like, oh, we can't go skating.
Right.
And so he invited everybody, and then I'm just standing there, and he didn't invite me. Mm-hmm. And he turns around and looks at me, and I'm like, oh. And he goes, and you can come too. And so we go over to Oakland on Saturday morning, and we find this guy's ramp. Like, you know, this is before like MapQuest and shit.
Right.
So we're just like 5 white boys in Oakland.
Right. In
2000, which was not a good idea.
No.
And so we find this guy's place, and he lets us in, and we walk into the room where he had this big ramp at, and there's fucking Billy Joe.
That's awesome. With
his kid on the ramp, on a skateboard. Like, just kind of playing around. And I was like, what the fuck?
That's cool.
It was wild.
Yeah. But I remember, like, that I don't like anything Green Day has done since then, pretty much. But I think a couple of tracks on Nimrod. I was still young enough to like be into Nimrod, I think. But after that, yeah. But yeah, Doogie has so many good fucking tracks on it, dude. So many fucking.
Welcome to Paradise.
Like all that fucking. That's such a great album, man. And I know there are punks who like hate Green Day even back then or whatever, but like that's whatever. I mean, that's a good fucking album, dude. You
can put it on and listen to the whole thing.
Yeah, you could.
Which isn't the sake for like every album. Like you can't just put on an album and listen to the whole fucking thing.
That actually was about the time where I know Will remember this too, but like that was about the time where in that track Do You Ever Die? In that track he talks about going to a whore, and that was like. I think we were still like little Christian kids, so like that was like a taboo word. You know what I mean? I don't think they blocked it out on MTV or whatever. But like that, and then do you remember the Offspring had a self-esteem? Mm-hmm. Remember? And in that song, he's I'm just a sucker with. And I remember me and my brother we would be singing along, and we would look at each other because we both knew we weren't supposed to say sucker, and we said sucker. You know what I mean? Like, but like that was about the time. That was a good fucking time for fucking shitty music. You know what I mean? I like that.
Yeah, the '90s were awesome back then.
They really were, man. That was I think it was like 94, 93, 94.
Yeah. Like pre like everybody having the internet, pre like smartphone, pre cell phone,
right?
Like shit, I remember like I was like the first of my friends to have a cell phone because I moved here.
Oh, I see.
And I would get made fun of.
Really?
Like all my friends back home would be like, "Oh, Mr. fucking cell phone over there," and I'm like, well, "Dude, like we're never home." Like at our apartments because there's shit to do.
Right.
You guys are home because there's nothing to do.
Right. So what do you still get out of skating?
I don't know, man.
I don't mean that to sound so accusatory.
Oh yeah.
But I mean,
no, I get it.
I'm wondering.
Well, I mean, it's a good question because like to somebody who doesn't do it, they go, only like a fucking weirdo would do something where you're not going to make any money doing it, and you fall.
Yeah.
Like it's like you have to be crazy, like to a certain degree. I guess like like I'll pick up a skateboard like maybe tomorrow morning I'll go skating if I can. Mm-hmm. And
so it's not a utility thing as much as it is you just do it for leisure.
It's weird. Like people will go, "Oh, it's a fucking sport." It's absolutely 100% not a fucking sport. Now you're getting the real mother.
All right. What do you mean? So why do people say it is a sport? It is not a fucking sport.
It is a lifestyle.
Ooh. So why do people say it is a sport?
And that's not even a good word.
Do you mean like X Games wise? Like you don't like the Tony Hawk of it all, or you're saying...
I don't watch any of those like competition things because it's too like, here, look at us doing this organized thing that's not supposed to be organized, and I started skating in the '90s when it wasn't fucking cool.
I see.
And it was like we were doing something that was not cool.
Yeah, X Games wasn't on MTV or whatever. Like it was.
Yeah. I don't look at like I'm going to go practice at skateboarding. It's like something that I'm going to do. It's like I can't walk down the street and not see shit like in the terms of a skateboarder.
I see. Yeah.
So I see like a ledge and I go, "Oh, somebody could do a trick on that. I could do a trick on that. Oh, there's that bank up to that wall. I could wall ride that bank."
Nice.
Like, I don't think that people that play basketball are walking around going, I could dribble my basketball off on that fucking concrete right there, and it'd be really, really nice.
Right.
Or I could hit a home run in this in this vacant lot. Like, it's
Right.
just not the same.
Right.
It's different. It's not any better. It's just like tweaking of the terminology.
I see. What do you think that calling it a sport does to it?
Shits on it.
Okay, it cheapens it, you think?
Yeah,
Or
it's
is it
just it makes it something that it's not. It's like it's supposed to be something that's like your parents are supposed to fucking think it's lame. They're supposed to go, really? That's what you're gonna fucking do?
Right.
And you're like, yeah, this is what I'm gonna do. And then they look at your friends and they go, fucking losers.
I see.
Because
Okay.
it's like, it's like I heard this thing once about like about art, and I'm not saying it's an art. I'm not saying that either because I don't like that one either. But
Right.
certain people, if you watch some skateboard and you are a skateboarder, you'll go, that motherfucker is like an artist.
Right.
But I heard something said about like you don't pick the medium picks you.
Yeah.
And so this
Like
is,
me with podcasts. No, I'm just
yeah.
kidding.
Or like, like a comedian picking like doing stand-up is like
Right.
something that expresses himself. I don't think it's like an expression of myself, like how I skateboard, but I don't know. I go do it.
But
and
you don't have to call it an expression of yourself if it's just a piece of you. It's
I
it's
guess
a
so.
piece of you. Right.
It's like I've been doing it for so fucking long that I wouldn't. If you want like for more like asterisk for more amplification, there's this guy Jeff Grosso who does this show called Vans produces it, and it's called Love Letters to Skateboarding, and he talks about it, and he says this thing that's just like beautiful, and it makes me sound like a weirdo saying it because I've quoted like a whole bunch of people on this fucking thing.
Sure.
But he says that, he's like in his 40s and he starts thinking about there's going to be a day where he can't skateboard, like physically. And that day is going to be the worst day of his life. And he's not going to know what to do with his life. And it's like, and he goes, and that's basically like a grown man saying I'm not going to be able to ride my toy.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that is some real shit for like skateboarders. It's like, I'm 37 and there's going to be a day where like, I might not be able to do it. And I might. Notice I use the word might.
Right.
And that's going to be a sad fucking day because... if like I go skateboarding, when I go skateboarding rather, I don't feel my age. I also don't feel like I'm 12 again.
Right.
I just feel like I'm me.
Right.
It's like everybody has something that they do that they're immersed into it. Right?
Right.
Like whatever it is, right? Like some people, like I know people that are like really into music, and it's like I knew this guy, the guy that got me into skateboarding. I remember thinking, dude, you should be a DJ. Like, you can name every song on the radio. Like, you're immersed in that shit. And that's
Right.
pre-Google.
Right, of course.
And that's my thing. That, like, I can go, yeah, I know how to do, like, I'm pretty good at skateboarding. I'm not, like, the best. I was never pro or, like, sponsored or any of that kind of stuff. But, like, I'm pretty good at it. And, like, I know how to take it apart and put it back together again all different ways and all that shit. So it's like, that's like that's a world that I've dove all the way into.
Right. How many have you broken bones? Not yet? Well, I don't know if that's actually wood. I think it's a particle board.
I dislocated my pinky this one time. It's really stupid.
Wow.
I was like super hungover. And I was, I still remember. It's so weird that I remember exactly where it happened too. It was here in the city. And I was trying to do this trick on a ledge, and I was trying to do it while smoking. And so I had a cigarette in my right hand, and I hung up, and it pitched me out.
I
And
don't
I didn't
know what
want to.
any of those things mean. So what you're saying you...
So I went to try the trick, and when I like ollied into the air to do the trick,
Right.
I hung up on the ledge that I was trying to do this trick on.
Oh, shit. Okay.
And I fell, and it pitched me out forward.
Okay.
And I didn't want to break the cigarette. And so I landed on my pinky, and then like I was like, oh shit, I totally dislocated that.
Right.
And then like popped it back into place, and I was like, cool, the day's over. Never went to the doctor
Right.
because I didn't have medical insurance.
Right. Isn't there a certain pride among skaters to not going to the doctor as well, though?
I think actually it's a little bit different now. It seems like folks are much more into like it used to be something where you hurt yourself and then you're just like, well, I guess I gotta learn how to play the guitar for 6 months or something.
Right.
And they would just like loaf around and drink beer and like maybe like I don't know, do something else. But It seems like skateboarders now have kind of embraced like medicine to a certain degree.
That's good.
So, but I didn't go because I didn't have insurance.
Right. Do you feel like it's become, like you were talking about how it's become sportalized, do you feel like it's become too commercial?
Yes.
Okay.
Where,
I mean, I think the ne'er-do-well, and I mean that with all the love in my heart, but in the good aspect, the ne'er-do-wellness of it all is still alive and well. I don't think that's gone.
I don't think that it's ever going to, like, there's just like a certain quality to it that will never die.
Right.
It's like a zombie or something.
Right. But I guess I do understand what you mean, like when Patrice would talk about tattoos. He'd be like, now, like, tattoos are supposed to be like, I don't like that,
And now everybody has them.
Right. Tattoos are supposed to be, fuck you, I have tattoos. Now it's like, where else do you get your punk attitude from? You know what I mean? If they're commercial. Is that how you kind of feel about it?
I don't know if it's... I don't know if I'd go that route. I think I'd stick with the route that I expressed earlier, which is like your parents are supposed to not like it.
Right.
Like it's weird. I remember I worked at a skateboard shop for a long time, and I see like kids come by with their parents, and their parents would be kind of like supportive and like cool with it. And I'm like, parents are supposed to fucking hate this place.
Right.
And they're supposed to think all the people that work there are bad influences. And,
right.
Like, what are you doing? You're wasting your time, and you're not going to go anywhere. And
right.
Because and that's just based on like my experience. Like my mom was very like, she didn't like it, and it wasn't like she went, I want you to fucking stop doing that. She expressed it through, why don't you do something else?
Right.
Which I knew my mom well enough to know that she just didn't like it.
That was more of like an added bonus to the to the actual feeling.
I guess, yeah,
you got
it did kind of like make it. It did have like a certain allure with it. Okay, she doesn't like it. Cool, I'm totally on board now. Like
right.
Even more so.
Right. That's what weirds me out. There's sometimes these, apparently, and I don't know because I don't have kids, and you don't have kids, do you?
No.
Yeah. Where like apparently like as a father or as a mother, you feel like you're supposed to be like friends with your kids, and like
no, you're supposed to be their parent.
Yeah, you're supposed to feel they're supposed to be a little, and obviously it's a bit of a future trip, a bit, seeing as I don't even have a fucking broad right now, but like, the idea that like that would be shitty, that at some point, even though I've given, I've fucking given this thing my life, and and I love this thing more than anything, this human being, that now I'm supposed, and it's natural. Like, what an interesting feeling and some people obviously handle it better than others, but that I could actually appreciate and understand, oh good, my son is at the point where he hates me. Like, or good, that's maybe not I like it, but just that like, oh, this is where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Where you're accepting of it. That's an interesting, I don't know. I feel like it's probably healthy to embrace that,
Yeah, and I get the thing with like, people that are parents that, take the route of like, I want to be like buddies with my kids.
Right.
I don't think that there's anything wrong with that as long as you're still like your primary thing is you're their parent.
Right.
You
can
like,
tighten up when you need to.
Like as long as and obviously this means nothing because I don't have children.
Yeah, me
but
neither. Hey
but
everybody,
I
listen to a couple of know-it-all cunts talk about talk about fucking.
But
what
I
they
had
think
people that
means.
parented me, and like they were parents first.
Right.
Like my grandfather was like my guy.
Right.
But he was my grandfather first.
Right.
There was definitely like a line drawn in the sand that,
right.
Hey bud, I'm your fucking grandpa.
Right.
And then it was, hey, do you want to go to the store and
let's
clown around?
Let's watch wrestling, but if you do some shit, I'm gonna be ready to be your fucking grandpa.
Like, hey, let's go to the store and clown around. But
guess
like,
who's paying for all this shit?
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like it's similar to.
But hey, don't scratch my fucking car when you bring your bike into the garage.
Right. It's similar to the male woman relationship. I feel like a female, if she's in a relationship, she does want, be my, but like sometimes I want to know that you can throw down, that you can have give me some fucking structure from time to time.
Yeah.
My man, I want some, like, if I'm, and Patrice talked about it too, and Dante Nero, and a bunch of other people. you know, if I'm like, put me in my place, as much as that sounds, you know, shitty, but like a female, like, you know, don't just go completely willy-nilly and just, oh, everything you want, everything you know, like, structure is important, you know what I mean? And as a man, I feel like that's kind of what I'm at least built for. I don't like it for my own life, and sometimes it's like, do I really have to give structure now? Like, I want to watch TV. Like, I don't want to have to go, let's sit down for an hour and talk about why what you did was fucking stupid, and like why I believe and what you're actually doing right now. But it's a necessary thing, you know. I don't know.
Yeah, I get that in my own relationship, where we're pretty like we operate well together. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I think it's like not that long ago, we were having the what do you want for dinner conversation.
Right.
You know, it was like after work kind of thing.
Right.
And I was like, I don't know, whatever you want to get. And it wasn't like, oh, I don't, tiptoe. It was like, I legitimately, I don't know.
You genuinely don't give a fuck.
And she was like, you know what? You know, can you just pick something? Because, and most of the time I don't, because like I'm really like a creature of habit. Like I burn out movies and TV shows.
Exactly. Like we were talking about earlier. Yes. I would eat the same thing if I could.
I'm like, really? Chipotle's good? Okay, we're eating that shit again.
Right. Fuck it.
Because I'll eat Chipotle anytime, because you know what? What is it, $11, and I'm full.
Right.
I don't have to worry about food for like a solid 5 hours or whatever.
Right.
You know, or like, I really like this one place called Hello Guys, and it's just like meat and rice.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with some meat and rice.
It's just meat and fucking rice, and you got the sauce.
So what it if you don't mind, so like, did she eventually explain what that meant to her?
Yes, she said it, and she didn't take very long to express it. She was like, sometimes I just want you to like pick something, and we'll go with it.
Right.
You know, and I've like inadvertently done that like other times too.
Sure.
You know, like I remember like we were she has like a lot of cousins, and she has a large family, and we would go on these trips up to Tahoe twice a year, like in the winter for the snow, and in the summer to go to the lake. Mm-hmm. And we're up at this cabin, and it was before any of her cousins had kids and stuff. And we're all standing around, and all of her cousins are dudes. Mm-hmm. And we're having the dinner conversation. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want?
Right.
And I'm fucking hungry.
Right.
And so I'm listening to this shit, and I'm like, we're having sushi. Let's go.
Jesus.
And it was weird because they all listened.
Right.
They were like, okay, yeah, where are we getting sushi? I go,
all of a sudden she got wet.
I don't know about that, but
I'm sorry, I don't mean to be offended.
But we ate sushi that night, and it was really good too.
Good. Attaboy. Yeah, it's such a weird thing. I feel like the older I get, like, I don't know, like sometimes there's a bit of a like, what's your fight, bro? But like the fight is like, you know, like someone was talking about when I posted about the Jerry episode, about the Proud Boys episode, and I was like, listen, you know, I made a joke, but it also is, you know, important to me. Like I said, you know, we, I said in the description, I said the Proud Boys are sometimes, some people think that the Proud Boys are all a white supremacist organization. Jerry is Mexican. You know what I mean? And we continued on with the description. And someone was like, "Oh yeah, just everybody needs to like." That's one thing that these you know, these I don't remember what he said, but like it was like that's what all these right people think. You know, these right leaning people think like, "Hey, we found one that's not Mexican. Like, why is that so important?" Because you guys made it important. Yeah, meaning, here's what I mean. Meaning, the reason why saying he's not white is important is because the narrative has been they're white supremacists. So to say, hey, he's not white, that debunks your narrative. So like as an example, the reason why I think it's good to talk about, or to go back to the point, you know, the reason why the fight for me is not, you know, that I think all females are weak or any of that shit. Or like I just think what I love is honesty. And what I need is honesty. And when I feel that thing, when someone says that thing that you're not supposed to say, or that in general the narrative is against, when someone says that, pulls the cord and says, you know what? No, I don't fucking like, even on smaller shit, like everybody's sucking fucking Five Guys dick. I don't give a fuck about Five Guys. Five Guys is boring to me. You know what I mean? But like on a small scale, that small.
Oh, the burger place?
Yeah, the burger place. That's what I'm saying. Like everybody, even In-N-Out. Like, okay, I've had it. Thanks. Like it's good.
I fuck with In-N-Out.
No, I fuck with In-N-Out too. but like, fucking, years ago, 10 years ago, when it was first started, like, or when it was like, anything. The big narrative is when someone says that thing that all of us, not all of us, but a lot of us are thinking but aren't saying because it's just. It's not popular. It feels good to my belly. It feels good to like hear a female tell me, like I literally have had, when I posted the video, a friend of mine who's a female, or when I posted the Jerry episode and we were talking about nice guys and soy boys, however you want to call it, she sent me a video about nice guys and how fucking annoying, and why nice is dishonesty. The fact that a female can do that is it's so freeing. Don't you understand how freeing, how important it is for a female to not toe the regular quote unquote, and I say that with big ass quotes, feminist line, to not toe the regular quote unquote feminist line is so important. It's so important to just tell, like, for a woman who accepts and embraces what she actually wants instead of what she thinks she wants or what the public is telling her to want. That's so important.
Well, yeah, because there needs to be room for people disagreeing. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. It's like if we go the way people are trying to make things go, then there's no like dissenting voices, and that's really, really scary and weird because I know that they exist. Right. What that actually means is if we go the route where it's socially, financially, and personally costly for you to disagree with the narrative in society, then that shit doesn't go away.
Yeah. It
just goes underground.
Right. And
then it gets worse.
Right.
Because then people can't express themselves and it builds up.
Right.
And then it's going to have like bad repercussions downstream.
And it's taboo. And as a couple of ne'er-do-well, kids like you and I have been, anything that's taboo I want to do. I mean? Anything that's like taboo to believe. I thought I can't remember. I can't think of a good example now. But like I put fucking, black nail polish on. Like I thought I was a cool kid. I thought I was an underground.
Dude, when I was a kid, my mom made me go to catechism. You know what that shit is?
Right. Yeah.
And I fucking hated it.
Right.
And I remember this kid, I won't say his real name, but I'll say his nickname was Donut.
Okay.
And we had to do this color by numbers picture of a priest, the parents, and then the baby being baptized.
No.
And we gave them all pentagrams and like made it all punk rock and shit. I got in so much fucking trouble for that. But it was so cool.
Right. I mean, it's, you look back on it now and it's corny or whatever, but like, anything that's taboo.
I didn't even know what the fuck a pentagram was. I think Donut was like, yeah, this will piss him off,
Yeah.
They were so bummed on us. Yeah, my mom was pissed. You know why she was pissed?
Huh.
Because catechism was expensive.
Was it really?
Yes.
Why?
I think you had to like pay the church for.
It's not just regular tithing. Like you had to.
I from what I remember, I think that she was pissed because she made a remark about it costing money.
Yeah.
And it was
at least to drive your asses there and to fucking they
money
have
and
to...
time. Well, I think I walked because it was just like down the street from my house.
Right. How soon did you know that you didn't like? Do you believe in God now or?
Yes.
Okay. But not that. Is it that same God?
No.
Okay. Yeah. How soon did you know that you didn't?
I think it probably started with that my mom got me, at the same time she got me 2 opposing pieces of literature. She got me a book, these series of books that were like the Bible illustrated.
Okay.
And then she got me books on like scientific stuff.
Okay.
Like anatomy on like animals and shit like that.
Ah, right.
And I remember being like reading them and like, having one on one side and one on the other and being like, one of them's not right.
Yeah.
because they're different.
They're conflicting, right?
Yeah, they're something's weird here.
Right.
And I don't know. I don't think it was like a conscious thought. I think it was just like I think actually it was a conscious thought of, and I don't remember the specific time, but I think it was more like I think that it's bigger than what's being presented.
Right.
Like it's not exactly what they're describing. I think it's different. Maybe bigger is not the right word, but bigger was the word at my whatever how old I was, 12 or 11 or something.
Did you ever become atheist?
No.
Yeah.
I always believed in God.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I thought I was an atheist for a little bit, but I was just angry.
Yeah, I was just agnostic.
Yeah.
I became an agnostic.
Right.
But then, at a certain point, the shit hit the fan, and I said, gotta help me.
Right.
So, apparently I still believed enough.
Right. Yeah, me too. I thought I was an atheist, and then I can't remember why. There wasn't any... Actually, I do remember, but... Actually, I think it was that same night. I don't want to say this. Fuck. Anyway, I had talked about it when I had tried putting a candy cane up my ass.
Sweet. No pun intended.
Right. Well done. But I was like 15 years old, and there wasn't anything... Like, I don't know why that... I don't know why that was like helping me hit my bottom, but like
no pun intended.
There was something about that night where I don't know if it was the shame or the fear or the something. I just felt like this. I think my dad came home and I threw it out and like ran into the room and like he didn't ever catch me. I don't think, but like like it was something about that night where I was literally, even though I was an atheist and I loved Carlin and all this stuff, there was something about that night where I was just like, send someone or something to help me, which atheists are not supposed to pray. But I remember crying and looking up at the fucking ceiling and saying that. And then the next morning, I don't think I was high at that point. I don't think I was drunk at that point. There was just something about life, like life had won. And I just couldn't fight it anymore. And I didn't understand what that feeling was. You know what I mean? But there was just something about it. I don't know.
Yeah, I've had too many weird experiences to not think that they're... I mean, I don't know if there's like something like specifically watching me and like pulling strings so that my life gets better. Because I used to think that kind of shit, but that makes me really important if that's happening.
Right.
And I just don't think... I think that doors are opening and windows are closing, etc. But I just don't like to view it like it's like some kind of weird like chess player in the sky.
Right, because then we would have to attribute the child rape to that as well.
Yeah.
And like we would have to attribute the bad shit as well. And it's just like, I think it's bigger, like you were saying in a way. It's kind of bigger than that.
But it definitely has a fucked up sense of humor.
Yeah.
Because I remember like, I think it was like 2006 or something. I was like going through this like transitional period, and I was like really up my head about like what I thought I was capable of in my life.
Sure.
And I looked out and I remember like I looked out the window and I saw like these. I'm not gonna repeat it, but there was like these words on the side of a fucking semi truck that totally fit what I was thinking about.
Right.
And I was like, oh my God, I think I just got a sign, like literally and figuratively.
Right. No, I've had times like that for sure. But and I wouldn't necessarily like was already talked about, like I wouldn't necessarily attribute it like this is 100% this all-knowing, all-powerful deity who's just moving everything left and right, but there's something bigger. It's not that this is 100% nothing. Even if you want to call it collective consciousness, like apparently there's a militant atheist who listens, and he says he wants an atheist on the show. I already had an atheist on the show, but like someone who's more militant, I guess, to like fight about God. But like, I don't think I've talked about God very much, or my opinions about it, because I don't think it's that important to do so. I don't think it's that like meaning. It goes down to politics in some ways too, but like, we've got more important shit to do, and everybody has their own personal walk with it. Like, why would it even matter? Sure, let's dissect it and let's talk about it, this and that, but like, I don't need to have a fight about what my about what my religious leanings are, because it's not that important. Like everybody's their own. I mean, my personal, spiritual relationship is extremely important, but it's not important. You know what I mean? Like, it goes to that idea. I fucking hate OkCupid, but it goes to that idea on OkCupid. There's this thing, what religion are you? And, how important is it? I'm very serious about it, or laughing about it. Like, you can be Christian and laugh about it. Meaning, I believe this thing, and I'm allowed to laugh about it. I'm allowed to question it. I don't have to, 100% all in to fucking anything. You know what I mean? And I don't know a whole lot of people who do. And that goes to left and right politically as well. You know what I mean? To male and female, to all kinds of shit. It's just like, we're all kind of somewhere in the middle with lots of different things. You know what I mean? And we can dissect it and we can talk about it. But there's no big fight in me, even though I'm very, I do believe in God, and I do, but there's no big fight in me, because it's like, that doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? It's like, and it's so personal, like, it's kind of like, I don't need to tell somebody, like, why burritos are better than tacos. Like, I just, like, it's not important, but burritos are important.
Yeah, because burritos are on the level of God.
They are. Yeah. Oh, by the way, fuck tacos. I'm going to say it right here fucking right now.
Oh, man.
Not just the hard shell. No. Fucking corn tortillas can suck my fucking dick.
Dude.
Nobody, how dare you like corn tortillas? Corn tortillas are boring, nasty cartilage tasting fucking, flour tortillas all goddamn day.
We're talking about food. Great.
Motherfucker, I'm a fat kid. Don't you dare step on my fucking...
We talked about cartilage.
Who runs this house? What? Go.
You ever eaten pig ear?
I'm sure I have.
Oh, it tastes great.
Pig ear.
Pig ear. The Chinese do it, and it's served cold. Oh, it fucking tastes great.
You're saying, see, you fucking liberals, I'm not allowed to make fun of that? Come on.
Pig ear is great. You need to fuck with that. And that is the only...
But it's chewy. How could you... Do you bite through it? Do you cut it with a knife? What are you saying?
They serve it in, like, little chunks.
Oh, okay. So
and it's like... I don't know how they cook it, but it fucking tastes great. I love that shit. I love Asian food.
Okay. How is dog?
Yeah.
Oh. Anyway. I'm going to start wrapping up.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Yeah, it's been... You've got only 15 more minutes on your parking.
Oh, cool.
Thank you very much for doing this, man. This is very, very interesting shit. Obviously,
we talked about a lot of shit.
Yeah. It's
talked about skateboarding.
Talked about skateboarding.
We talked about God. I mean, fuck, that's killer right there.
Corn tortillas.
We talked about pig ear.
Pig ear. Do you really like corn tortillas? I mean, come on.
You got to go to this place over in Berkeley. It's all vegan tacos.
Man, all you motherfuckers say that. Like,
it's hella good. I'll show you a picture.
Okay, but I have had lots of different tacos in the Mission. You know what I mean? Like, but it's the stuff inside it.
I don't fuck with the tacos in the Mission.
Really? Why?
I fuck with the burritos.
Oh, because they're better.
Yeah.
Okay, I can hear
That's
that.
the only, and I want to be clear on this. That's the only terminology I use from, like, the younger generation is fuck with. Like, like they use that.
Well, you said woke earlier, technically, but yeah, I understand.
Yeah, but I was making fun of it.
Right.
Because I don't know what it means, and I don't think it really actually means everything that people think it means.
Right. But I think, I've had, like, it's the carnitas that make the difference. It's the goddamn, carne asada. It's not the fucking, carne asada, carnitas, put it in a flour tortilla, it's better. Like, I understand, I have cilantro and onion. Good for you. Put it in a fucking burrito. It's better. Or put it in a fucking quesadilla. But, like, don't put it in a fucking taco. And it's not because, the taco can't even sop up the delicious oil from a fucking, from the meat. Like, it's just not, it's not utilitarian. It's just not effective. Like,
it's also not as portable.
Yeah, it's not as fucking, thank you very much. Exactly. I hadn't even thought of that. I could, obviously sometimes it's not wrapped right and it drizzles down, the oil drizzles down your fucking arm. But, like, come on, man. A taco?
A burrito is kind of like a tall can of beer.
Yeah, there you go.
Because you put the brown bag around the tall can.
Right. And it has the stuff of life inside of it.
Yeah, the doing better.
Right. Yeah! To put it all back in a nice little bow. Well done, man. Well, thank you, Michael, for coming on. Do you want Jay? I guess we'll do Michael Jay. Sure.
Yeah, Jaywalker.
Yeah, there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, do you have? Well, you don't have anything to plug. You're not going to be skating anywhere, are you?
No.
Okay.
Nowhere that anybody gives a shit about.
What am I going to be doing? I'm going to be doing. So this is going to be coming out Monday. I'm going to be playing music at Amelie Wine Bar on October 7th in San Francisco. At Duvin Wine Bar on Friday the 12th out in Oakland. I'm also going to be playing... What else? I'm going to be playing at the Academy, which is over on kind of Market and Church area on Friday, October 19th. But you have to kind of be a special member. Oh, wait, but on the 17th, on Wednesday the 17th, I'm going to be playing at Moonlight Cafe at around 7:30 for Tuesday's Child on Wednesday, I think it's called. Yes, Tuesday's Child on Wednesday. It's a comedy show, and I'm the dumb musician. Anyway, that's where I'll be playing, and then I also again want to make a plug for the Patreon. It's patreon.com/conservatish. You can pledge $1, $5, $10, $20 a month to help support me and my artistic endeavors. This podcast, if you like it, go put some fucking money on there. It's very expensive, and I can produce more podcasts and more music, and you get all kinds of goodies for each tier that you join. And yeah. And if you don't worry about it. I'm gonna keep putting this shit out, but if you want to be a nice person. Anyway, I love you all very much. And thank you very much, Michael, for coming on. Is there anything else you want to say?
Nope.
Nothing? You get the last word. I'm really tempted to just stop it right there. From when you breathed out to just stop it. I wish I had the courage, the humor.
You can edit it that way.
No, I'll let you go ahead.
No,